demonstrates that teachers are just as important as basketball players. And we're hoping that they bring them home.
Los Angeles has a new mayor.
I, Karen Ruth Bass.
I, Karen Ruth Bass.
That was Vice President Harris swearing in Congresswoman turned Mayor Karen Bass, the first woman to lead that city. And she says today,
my first act as mayor will be to declare a state of emergency on homelessness.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Political musical chairs. It's mostly cloudy, 39 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. You already know Senator Mike Braun is planning to run for governor come 2024. Further crowding the Republican primary, Indiana Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch. She released a statement this morning saying that she too plans to run for Indiana's top executive.
I have a vision for Indiana's future that I'd like to share with you. And it starts right here in our schools.
That vision, she says, also includes lowering taxes and defending Hoosier values. One thing that Hoosiers seem to value right now is legal pot. A recent survey by Ball State says 85% of voting Hoosiers support legal marijuana in Indiana.
If you look at our neighbors, Michigan's legalized, Illinois is legalized, Ohio has medicinal marijuana.
Chad Kinsella with the Ball State Bowen Center for Public Policy on Indy Politics. Republicans in the State House remain hesitant, though, especially with Governor Holcomb adamant that he will not support legal pot as long as it's illegal on the federal level. A man found dead in a car near 38th and Sherman on the northeast side this morning, and police say it was a homicide. They aren't saying how the man was killed. You may remember last Thursday's fatal shooting in Brownsburg. Donnie Burgess reports on an arrest.
Police slapped the cuffs on not one but two people involved in the death of Christian Arciniega. He met with Diamante McIntyre and Key May for a drug deal south of Cardinal and Delaware Trail elementary schools. Police say McIntyre tried to rob Arciniega, and that ended with a fatal gunshot. McIntyre is charged with murder, while May is charged with assisting a criminal. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Another massive flock of turkeys in Davies County has initially tested positive for bird flu. If more tests confirm it from the state, nearly 12,000 birds may have to be killed. A nail-biter for the Purdue Boilermakers as they barely got past Nebraska Saturday, 65-62 in overtime. Head coach Matt Painter says the Cornhuskers are a better team than many people think.
Their improvement is because of the defensive end. Like it just kills you.
Purdue remains undefeated at 10-0 on the year. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
All right, Kurt, looking at northbound Post Road at I-70, that is a crash blocking the right lane. Also, wreck at Hannah and South Harding Street. Now a crash report at Shadeland Avenue at 75th. Traffic sponsored by Fisher Homes. Discover your dream home with confidence with Fisher Homes. With exclusive below-market rates and one-time complimentary refinancing, you are sure to save thousands. Visit FisherHomes.com. I'm Matt Bear with Traffic on the 5s. Follow us on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
A story of first downs and second chances. Meet former pro football player Michael Robinson.
I wanted to keep playing, but my feet hurt.
And all those big league experts couldn't help?
You have access to anything, but none of it worked.
Finally, he got fitted with Good Feet arch supports.
Let me tell you something. They work.
Now, he recommends Good Feet to
anybody. If you move, go to the Good Feet store.
Sign up for your free fitting at goodfeet.com. The children's music and dance teacher who couldn't cha-cha.
I was always on my feet. It was just so painful.
Elisa couldn't let her students down, so she stepped up and went to the Good Feet store for personally fitted arch supports.
I would work an entire day, and my feet didn't hurt at the end of the day. That was when I knew, wow, these are different.
But the really good part?
It's good to be dancing together again.
Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Come in for a free fitting, no appointment needed. The Good Feet store, in the north, near Keystone at the Crossing or in Greenwood.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Lots of cloud cover again today with seasonably cool temperatures. Today's high 43. We are mostly cloudy, quiet, and chilly overnight, a low around 30. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
Mostly cloudy, 39 on Monument Circle. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's lab-grown or mined diamond store.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is December 12th. It is 6 minutes after 9. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. And Rob Kendall has the day off. And in his place, we have the loquacious Brad Klopfenstein. Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Casey. Loquacious, that's a big word.
Yeah, it means you're talkative.
Okay.
And since this is a talk show, it works.
It does.
Right?
So, yeah, I'm glad that somebody thinks I'm talkative, and apparently somebody seems to want to hear what I have to say.
Yes, we
which
do.
Is double good.
Okay, so we're going to start off the show where we kind of left off Thursday before Radiothon hit on Friday, and that is talking about Brittany Griner. And the WNBA star, she was released from the Russian penal colony on Thursday after nearly a year in custody. The United States negotiated a one-for-one prisoner swap involving her and convicted Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout. Okay, so the U.S. and Russia had agreed to the swap about a week before it happened. And then Thursday morning, the White House confirmed that she was safe, and they were posting pictures and videos of the president speaking with her on the phone. And then Biden said that he was glad to be able to see Brittany in good spirits, and she's currently flying home to the United States. Okay, well, she's home. And I'm elated for her. I am super jazzed up. I'm very excited. But, and here's the big but, we can be more than one thing at one time, right? I'm glad she was released from the Russian prison. I'm happy for her as an American. But I'm also mad that she put the United States in that position. You know, there were warnings.
Amen.
Don't travel to Russia. And she went anyway. And how about her agent for sending her there?
Yeah, now I don't know how many other players went over to Russia after the warning. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you remember this time a year ago, Russia was massing troops on the Ukrainian border, mm-hmm. and Russia's like, oh, no, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. We're just doing exercises. And the United States is like, the heck you are.
Yeah.
And we told everybody to get out.
So if you hear this warning and you decide you're still going to go anyway, wouldn't you be really sure that you're following all the rules and regulations and laws and you're not doing anything to put yourself in that position
you would think
to be detained?
The one thing that bothers me about this is not only did she do something that broke Russian law, mm-hmm. which you should be very aware of the laws of the region that you're in, the state you're in, wherever you are, be aware of those laws. What she did is also illegal in the United States.
Yeah.
So it's the double bad. You're right. So she put everybody in a bad position. I'd like to know more. I don't know how many prisoners Russia has that are Americans, and how many does America have? How many Russians do we have? I mean, how many people could we potentially swap back and forth? Mm-hmm. It sounds like Russia was only willing to talk about her. Sounds like they got the much better end of that deal.
So NBC reported that at one point they were talking about Paul Whelan, and then NBC edited that article and removed it, very much like the Paul Pelosi story. So did NBC have it right the first time? Or did somebody get a hold of NBC and say, change that information? It was very weird because the article was up and it said, yeah, they were going to exchange Viktor Bout for Paul Whelan. And then within minutes, it was taken down and it was a different story. And then it became Brittany Griner. So I'm really curious about the NBC thing going on there.
Yeah.
Was it the correct report to begin with and they were told to change it, or they had their information wrong and then they changed it?
I'm guessing it's the latter. That NBC was tipped that there was going to be a prisoner exchange, and they either assumed or were informed it was going to be Paul Whelan, and then all of a sudden the actual information came out and like, oops, we posted the wrong story.
Yeah, well, the best thing that I think she could do for her image, go to a high-profile event, stand with your hand over your heart while singing the national anthem at the top of her lungs, and this gives her the opportunity to say, America's the best country on earth, and I would know. Let me tell you why I would know, but without actually saying it. I mean, she needs to be the symbol of patriotism going forward and show humility, gratitude, and appreciation. She got anything else to say? I don't want to hear it.
I would hope.
I don't want to hear it.
I would hope because, the United States did her a solid.
Yeah, they did. I don't know if you heard this, but I could watch Peter Doocy go at the White House press secretary. I mean, like, that could be a TV show in itself, right?
Yeah.
It's just so entertaining. But here he is, and he kind of rattles an unhinged Karine Jean-Pierre after calling out Biden's prisoner swap to free the Russian merchant of death.
In this prisoner swap, why did Russia get such a better deal?
Look, I've talked about this, and I'll say this again. Here were our choices. Our choices was Brittany or no one at all. Bringing home one American or no American at all.
And that's a professional athlete. We gave up a prolific arms dealer who was convicted of trying to kill Americans, who was called the Merchant of Death.
The professional athlete is also an American citizen. So let's not forget that. Who deserved
an American citizen,
and I've explained how the Russians have illegally totally illegitimately treated his situation. I've been very clear on that. We've laid that out for you. And again, the president felt that this was an opportunity to bring Brittany home. He is going to continue to do everything he can to bring Paul Whelan home, just like he did with Trevor Reed, just like he was able to secure Trevor Reed's release.
Okay, so what about Paul? Whelan's brother spoke out stating he was happy for Brittany and said that the Biden administration made the right choice of one or none, although he expects catastrophe for his brother. He said in a statement, "I'm so glad that Brittany Griner is on her way home as the family member of a Russian hostage. I can literally only imagine the joy she will have being reunited with her loved ones and in time for the holidays." I mean, talk about handling a situation, a devastating situation, with dignity. He could have come out and said, "I don't agree with this at all. This is a Marine." But instead, he really showed grace on behalf of his brother, who is still detained. Yeah. And Biden's presidential envoy to hostage affairs said, "We still have options to bring Paul home, and they're very exciting and interesting."
Okay, so let's talk about Paul Whelan. Mm-hmm. What options realistically do you have to bring him home?
I would love to tell you about it because to me they're very exciting and interesting, but we have to, in these negotiations, because they're ongoing, we usually have to keep our cards close to our chest.
But are there cards?
There's always cards. The options are always being evaluated. We have to adapt at times.
Exciting and interesting options that are, cards that are still on the table there, Brad.
I am on the edge of my seat, waiting with bated breath. We'll see. I'd like to. I'm anxiously waiting to hear from Brittany Griner to hear about her treatment, to see how much it appears that she was coached by the State Department, and how much are her words as opposed to how much is the State Department's words.
Okay, well, this U.S. Special Envoy for Hostage Affairs, Roger Carstens, the one who actually helped put her on the plane, said he came out and said a few things. He said, when she finally got on the U.S. plane, I said, "Brittany, you must have been through a lot over the last 10 months. Here's your seat. Feel free to decompress. We'll give you your space." And apparently, Brittany Griner said, "No, I've been in prison for 10 months listening to Russian. I want to talk. But first of all, who are all of these guys?" And then she moved past him and went to all of the members on the crew, looked at them in the eye, shook all their hands, asked about them, got their names, trying to make a personal connection with them, which is what you want to hear from her, right?
Yeah. Casey, if that was you or I, and we'd been hanging out with Russians in a prison for 10 months,
I'd be hugging and kissing them.
I'd be crawling on people like a spider monkey.
Yeah, right, exactly. Okay, well, President Trump came out and he said on Sunday that he had previously rejected an attempt by Russia to trade the merchant of death, arms dealer Victor Bout, for Paul Whelan, insisting that he would never free someone who has killed untold numbers of Americans. He said, I wouldn't have made the deal for 100 people in exchange for someone that's killed untold numbers of people with his arms deals. Trump posted that on his Truth Social. And just as you would expect, Politico reporting now that Victor Bout is back in action. An hour ago, they said, yeah, he's back working for the Russian government. So now we're sending money over to Ukraine to help them fight this war, but yet we just gave them a big chess piece.
It's fascinating that Brittany Griner is in some sort of a facility that's a reintroduction type facility. Mm-hmm. This dude's back at work.
Yeah. Exactly. Had you ever heard of Brittany Griner before this story?
I had heard of her just through sports channel, so I was at least familiar with the name. But if you asked me who she played for or where she was prior to getting arrested, I would have been like,
you wouldn't have known that.
Nope.
So the United States doesn't provide an official figure for how many U.S. citizens are detained abroad, but the James W. Foley Legacy Foundation, which is named after a journalist who was abducted and killed in Syria, says that there are at least 60 U.S. citizens wrongfully detained worldwide in about 18 different countries. And one of them is named Mark Vogel. He's been detained in Russia for the same thing as Brittany Griner. And White House spokesperson John Kirby says that he can't or won't explain why Mark wasn't part of the conversation.
I want to ask about Mark Vogel because he's a U.S. teacher. He's taught in Russia for, I think, more than a decade, roughly a decade or so. He was taken into custody in August of last year, also coming through an airport there, had medical marijuana with him that was prescribed by a doctor because of injuries and surgeries that he's been through. He's been sentenced to 14 years. He obviously doesn't have the name recognition or the celebrity of a Brittany Griner, but he's been held on similar charges for longer than she has. Why wasn't he part of this conversation or this deal?
There's a limit in this particular case about what I can say publicly. I can tell you we're obviously mindful of this, of course, but there are some constraints here in terms of what we can say publicly. I can just broadly say that when it comes to wrongful detentions of Americans around the world, overseas, whether it's Russia or anywhere else, we're going to work as hard as we can to get them home.
Okay, so the lesson here, don't take your liberty for granted. Don't take your freedom for granted. If you're going to travel abroad, learn the rules before you go.
That's what we said earlier. And you answered my question from earlier that there's 60 people that we consider wrongfully detained in 18 countries.
Yeah.
So,
and if you are detained, just apparently make sure you have the correct ideology and you'll get home faster.
Right.
Yeah.
So the lesson here is don't take your weed on the plane.
Yeah. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC with Brad, and good morning.
Tony Katz.
It's Kanye, who, according to the sources, brought with him this guy, Nick Fuentes. Trump never should have had the lunch. You allow yourself to have a meal with a guy who you don't know who it is? And how in the bloody hell did this guy get into Mar-a-Lago? I don't think I could just be Kanye's +1 to Mar-a-Lago. Something tells me there's going to be a bit of a check. So Trump's getting heat for having this lunch. You know what? Damn straight. You do have lines.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Life's full of unexpected joys, like problems with water. That's why there's Michaelis, a crew of 24/7 experts who are rescue ready, day or night, one phone call, for a gazillion disasters. From frozen pipes and sewer backups to your teenager pleading ignorance on the proper use of a plunger. At Michaelis, they know that water damage waits for no one. Their fleet of trucks is, well, fleet. Over 3 decades of finding the source of the problem, then cleaning up, drying out, and restoring your home or business to better the new condition. That's Michaelis. Fully licensed and insured, and fully empathetic to your anxiety, including dealing with insurance claims. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yup, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Listen right here this weekend to Everyday Wealth with Soledad O'Brien and Gene Chatsky, presented by Edelman Financial Engines. For airtimes, visit everydaywealth.com.
Life is a collection of moments that last forever, so make them matter and make them count with a symbol of everlasting love. A diamond from Pierce Jewelers. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
Sounds like a jackal from hell.
And Casey Daniels.
Hot. Want to touch the hiney.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is 9:23. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. And Rob is out today, but Brad Klopfenstein is filling in this morning. Thanks for being here. Okay, so not only did the Twitter files dump over the weekend, part 4 and 5 and teas of 6, or I don't even know what number we're on. They just keep coming. And we're going to get into that, of course, later on this morning. But the other thing that dropped this weekend was the Harry and Meghan doc. And we have to do it. We have to talk about
yes,
it,
we
okay?
do.
Sure, there are plenty of bombshells and claims we could talk about. Why did she call him H throughout the whole thing?
So many syllables in Harry.
Yeah, Meghan Markle just kept referring to him as H. And it's almost like she is just trying to completely erase his identity of ever being part of the royals. And part of that is just giving him an entirely new nickname, H. She called him that throughout the entire documentary. Did you watch it?
No, I did not. I'm sure I will. My wife is all about everything British.
Mm-hmm.
So British baking and British other shows. So I'm sure that's going to be on our things to watch this week.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes, and the first episode was just so sickly sweet, and it just seemed disingenuous, like they were trying to prove to the world how much they were in love. And they kept using the word the past tense for everything. We liked each other. Like, everything was past tense. Now, I know that they were taking a trip down memory lane, but it just seemed odd that everything was in past tense. They were warned by King Charles not to attend his coronation, which I think they would guess that's going to happen after they release this documentary anyway.
Casey, have you ever been banned from a family gathering?
No.
This is like being uninvited to your sister's wedding.
I would show up anyway. Even if they said don't come, I'd be like, I'm coming. But some of the bombshells that were released, okay, so they met on Instagram. They began recording video diaries in 2020. So when they were out doing all of their public engagements, putting on a show for everybody, the whole time it was recorded. And Harry said he knew early on that Meghan was the one.
Okay, so what's your over-under on how long until we hear that they've split, they're getting a divorce?
Right? I don't know. Harry says that he inherited his mom's cheeky personality. He went on to compare Meghan to Princess Diana, which, of course, is going to ruffle a lot of feathers, probably in Britain.
That's very Oedipus of him.
Yeah, and in the royal family. Harry was harassed by the media from an early age. He said he didn't want to do that to his wife, and that's why they left. He talked about his dating struggles, where he was going to have to find someone who could not only fit into that family, but also be able to thrive under the media scrutiny and live in that bubble. Just a lot of things. If they do decide to go to the coronation, security had better be tighter than just a couple stern warnings from your dad, unless that's just, he doesn't really mean it.
Well, given that the general public is invited to attend a good portion of at least the procession, I don't think that the general public gets to be into the church.
Right.
They could be part of the general public.
Right, out there waving flags.
Now, I know when Harry and Meghan said that they didn't want to be royals anymore, they walked away.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they really walked away from they walked away penniless and said, we want no part of the royal fortune? Or do you think they said, we're going to walk away from most of this, but we're going to take a few $1 million with us?
They didn't walk away penniless. Are you kidding?
I mean, maybe that's why they're selling themselves out to Netflix.
Yeah.
Maybe they're broke.
Okay, and speaking of Netflix, they could really be the big winner of the documentary. Netflix wanted to raise their viewership by 2.5 million in this fourth quarter, and they're saying that the subscriber base based on this documentary could go up to 4.5 million.
I was surprised to hear that Twitter needs to have a bake sale, apparently, in order to make it through the holidays. The last I'd heard, it was something like 30% of all web traffic was Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they've got plenty of subscribers. Now, maybe everybody's using their grandma's account.
They have 223 million paid subscribers. So, but they're hoping that really this documentary might be what keeps them streaming into next year, right?
Well, I guess, yeah, on something like that, you don't need viewership. It's not like they're paying by the episode, but you're right. At least something like this keeps their subscribers engaged and hopefully they renew and you bring in new subscribers. My impression, though, is that Netflix is doing just fine.
Yeah, if you happen to watch the documentary, I'd love to hear your opinion on it. Leave us a message at 317-684-8444. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
With inflation on the rise, you may be charging more to your credit card. But be careful. That increased credit card debt can cause your credit score to suffer.
This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Don't get stuck with a low credit score and a mountain of high-interest credit card debt. We have a program to help you keep your good score.
Refinance with our low rates to wipe out your high-interest credit card debt and put extra cash in your pocket. Call 317-706-GOLD today.
Find relief in time for the holidays and make no mortgage payments until next year.
Plus, our average cash-out customer saves $904 a month.
That's right. The smartest way to save money is to pay off that high-interest credit card debt.
Call 317-706-GOLD for your free mortgage checkup.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
The share it with a friend deal. Even if that friend is yourself. Your McDonald's, your rules.
$3 meals? Sounds 3 times as tasty. Choose from a crispy 6-piece McNuggets or juicy double cheeseburger and add small fries. All for only $3. Add any size soft drink for $1. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Another one. It's 39 degrees and mostly cloudy, but finally getting some sunshine downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. A trial for more people accused of taking part in the Capitol riots. Fox's Eben Brown.
Federal prosecutors in Washington today will try to prove 4 more supposed members of an extremist group seditiously conspired to bring down the U.S. government during the disturbance at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. The Department of Justice accuses Joseph Hackett and David Marshall of Florida, Roberto Minuta of Texas, and Edward Vallejo of Arizona of belonging to a group called the Oath Keepers, who attempted to disrupt the certifying of the 2020 presidential election results. Eben Brown, Fox News.
Former President Trump says that he turned down a deal to free former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan on Truth Social yesterday. Trump said Russia offered to free Whelan in exchange for the U.S. releasing convicted arms dealer Victor Bout. Trump wrote that I would not have made such a deal for 100 people in exchange for someone that has killed untold numbers of people with his arms deals. On Sunday...
Splashdown. From Tranquility Base to Taurus Littrow to the tranquil waters of the Pacific.
Artemis 1 landing in the Pacific just off of the coast of San Diego on Sunday. The unmanned mission spending several days near the moon in preparation for future moon missions. And now the stock report. We're starting off the week on a good note. The Dow was up 77 points to 33,818. The Nasdaq up 29 to 11,712. And the S&P 500 is up 11 to 3,980. I'm Kurt Darling on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Rare and colorful gemstones formed in the earth. Expert hands selecting only the best. Designers creating jewelry inspired by each stone's uniqueness. At Shane Company, we're passionate about gemstones. We have holiday gifts with a full spectrum of natural, colorful gemstones. Peach morganite, tanzanite, London blue topaz, red garnet, and more. Throughout the year, Tom Shane travels to Bangkok, the gemstone capital of the world, to handpick the best rubies and over a dozen colors of sapphires. He then has the stones expertly cut to bring out their brilliance and beauty. Our stunning gemstone jewelry makes a magical gift. We're open 7 days a week, so come in, meet with one of our friendly jewelry consultants and leave with a beautiful gift, or get fast and free shipping when you order online. Your gift will be treasured forever.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
You don't have to go through yet another year with that knee pain or back pain. Hoosiers with chronic joint pain are getting real lasting relief from QC Kinetics. Tony Katz here, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine, utilizing protocols that use healing agents from your own body to target aching joints, repairing and restoring damaged tissue. You can move again with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. So if you have shoulder pain, hip pain, if you have arthritis pain or lingering pain from an injury, do not let them operate on you or give you more steroids. Say no to the pain pills. Call QC Kinetics in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. See if their life-changing all-natural treatments can get you living your best life in the new year. I'm telling you, people right here in Indy are raving about these treatments. This is the future of joint pain management, and appointments are available as soon as the next week. Make 2023 the year you say goodbye to joint pain. Call QC Kinetics right now in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. It's a totally free consultation. Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Steel outdoor power tools may be hard to wrap, but once they get opened, you'll see why Steel is so easy to give. Find the right gift this year with battery power made by Steel. From mowers and blowers to trimmers and chainsaws, our AK homeowner system of battery tools starts at just $199.99. Shop now by visiting your local Steel dealer or going to steelusa.com/gift guide. Real Steel. Find yours. All prices MSRP available at participating dealers while supplies last.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning, 9:34, and a new poll says that 70% of people don't want Biden to run for a second term. This was a new CNBC All-American Economics Survey. So, yeah, 70% of those polled said they don't want Biden to run, most of them citing his age.
Yes, 30% didn't know that he was even serving his first term.
This is interesting. 86% of the respondents, Republicans, said they don't want him to run, but also 57% of Democrats agreed they don't want him to run either.
I think we all knew 2 years ago he was somewhat of a placeholder. Just the way which the Democrats and how they sort out their convention and then all their primaries and then the superdelegates and all that. But I mean, I thought that was pretty wide open. I honestly thought Mayor Pete from South Bend, your former residents.
Yeah.
I thought Mayor Pete kind of had an inside track to it. The next thing I know, everybody's dropping out. And like, yep, it's going to be Biden.
Yeah.
Like, And I think that was just, we're going to put the old man in there and have 4 years of what we thought was going to be a moderate. Turns out everybody around him is far left, and here we are.
Yeah, well, they also pulled Pete Buttigieg aside and said, it's not your turn. Just wait. And then he magically ended up in the cabinet.
Yes.
So that was kind of like, hey, drop out. We'll give you a cabinet position, and your time will come. And I think his time will come, Mayor Pete.
Mm-hmm.
I think he still wants that job. And, like I said at night with WIBC, I think he might still be the guy. But first, Biden's got to say he's not running. And just last week, he was saying that it all depends on what his family wants. And then his family came out and said, yeah, we want him to run again. So I don't know if it has completely to do with his age. I mean, he's going to be 86 years old at the end of his second term. So I think, yes, age has a lot to do with it. But let's not forget about lockdowns and the inflation from his colossal spending, the worst trade in WNBA history, and his policy, his foreign affairs policy. And here, Kevin McCarthy says that Biden's exchange for Brittany Griner is a big win for who? Oh, for Putin.
This is a big win for Putin. By far. The merchant of death, when he was able to be caught, this is a man that went around trying to kill American soldiers. This is a man who sells weapons. We're now having a war in Ukraine that Biden is concerned about. Even his own DOD is concerned this man will be back on the field, back selling those weapons, back engaging in what he was doing around the world. Think about the exchange here. The merchant of death for a WNBA star who was picked up for marijuana. What a victory for Putin. But what else it does, it makes every American who is overseas vulnerable. Why? Because they can pick you up on a trumped-up charge to get somebody they want out. This is what's wrong. This is a sign of weakness. It goes back to what Secretary of Defense Gates said, that every decision that President Biden has made in his 40 years when it comes to foreign policy has been wrong. And this is wrong. He left a Marine behind. Think about it. It's not an equal exchange. I'm glad an American's coming home. She was arrested for a trumped-up charge. But to exchange the merchant of death for this, it's made us weaker, it's made Putin stronger, and it's made Americans more vulnerable.
So more reasons why people don't want Biden to run again.
There's many. I mean, his foreign policy, his domestic policy, inflation, gas prices have come back down, amazingly.
Yeah. Wannabe Speaker Kevin McCarthy says the oversight for Biden and his administration, it won't be payback, but rather checks and balance.
Well, it's called oversight. We're going to call it oversight and accountability, and it's exactly what the responsibility is supposed to do. Jamie Comer will be the chair of it, and then what you have for the entire conference, what you find is a microcosm of the conference, will be sitting on oversight. But think of this. All the things that oversight and accountability did not do in the last Congress. They never brought cabinet members in. They never had a discussion about all the money that was being spent and wasted during COVID and others. They've held none of the government agencies accountable. So this will be very new, where these secretaries will now have to come in and have a real say and an understanding of this hard-earned taxpayer money. What have they been doing? Have they been wasting it? And you want to have a check and balance. It's a responsibility regardless of who's in the White House or not. The Article 1 provisions of Congress. We should be a check and balance of what's going on, and that's exactly what we'll do. It's not payback. We're not Democrats, but we will hold people accountable. That's the difference. We won't pay politics with it, but we'll take it wherever the truth plays.
The accountability meeting.
Now,
right?
I'm going to throw out an admonishment for both sides right here.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that America works and has worked for 240 years is that you can take issue with the government and the governing party, and even if you end up on the short end, you are still free to participate, and there are not reprisals. And both sides are starting to get into this murky water where whoever the winning side is weaponizes the government against the losing side.
Yeah.
If this continues, that's going to be a problem.
Well, we'll find out in January if Kevin McCarthy gets his wish come true to be Speaker of the House. One of the names that I've heard being thrown around is Lugar. So who knows? And you don't have to be a member of the House to be the Speaker. They can nominate somebody else. So that's an interesting proposition as well.
Trump for a while was saying he
would be Speaker. But here Kevin McCarthy explains why it should be him. He should be the guy.
Our goal was to stop the Biden agenda, to win the majority, and fire Nancy Pelosi. We achieved all of those. At the same time, if you watch other Republicans, in the Senate they lost, the governors lost. We've been able to win. We are the only line of defense. And what we need to do is find a way that we come together. We had our primary after the election. I won 85% of the vote. I believe at the end of the day, we'll all find a place to get together, because this is what happens if we don't. No subpoenas go out. No ability to use the power of the purse to stop this ESG and others. No ability to repeal 87,000 IRS agents. No ability to really make this economy and make us energy independent. So yes, we'll find a place to get there, and I think we'll have continues the discussions until we do.
All right, Kevin McCarthy. Coming up next, we're going to speak with Mel McMahon. We had Radiothon over the weekend, and I thought it would be good to get a final number from her, and that's on the way from 93 WIBC.
There's a lot of sexy content on the internet. And there's WIBC, full of faces meant for radio. Hammer and Nigel, Kendall and Casey. Okay, Casey could be on TV. Now streaming every day on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/WIBC.
Have you been waiting for the perfect time to propose or show them how much their love means to you? The first of a lifetime of holidays surrounded by those you love is just the moment you've been looking for. And at Diamonds Direct, we're here to make that magic happen. Diamonds Direct's got the unbeatable prices you're used to, plus 0% interest financing for 3 years. You can get the most amazing romantic gift and spread your payments over 3 years with 0 interest. That means an $8,000 diamond pendant or tennis bracelet is just over $220 a month. At Diamonds Direct, we have the best gifts: rings, bands, earrings, all new one-of-a-kind designer jewelry, starting as low as $500. So relax and enjoy the holidays. Get that incredible gift at a price you didn't think was possible, and take advantage of 3 years 0 interest financing. Come in today or go online for store hours and directions, and check out our all-new holiday gift guide to make it super easy. Happy holidays from Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
The holidays bring families together. For many adult children, spending time with elderly loved ones leads to questions about their health and safety. This may be the perfect time to consider the security of a continuing care retirement community. Westminster Village North is offering personally scheduled tours to introduce you to the independent living and assisted living advantages. Call 317-823-6841 to schedule a personalized tour.
There's only one you, and you only have one heart. That's why Franciscan Health is here with the highest level of heart care that's personal, compassionate, and sensitive to your needs. Known for embracing innovative technology and advancements in care, our nationally recognized heart team is committed to helping you protect the only heart you've got. To schedule your appointment with a heart care expert or to get a second opinion, visit franciscanhealth.org/heartcare.
Inflating prices aren't stopping anytime soon, and that kitchen or bath remodel you've been thinking about, if you wait any longer, it's just going to get more and more expensive. You need to be planning right now. Tony Katz for Boer Remodeling. Get in touch with Boer now to get on the schedule for 2023 and avoid some of those price increases. Boer Remodeling aims to be the finest remodeler in Central Indiana with the best materials and most skilled craftsmen. They'll guide you through the entire process to make your vision come to life. Boer Remodeling, BOOHER. Talk to BoerRemodeling.com to set up your free consultation.
Good morning. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC, and joining us on the Drive Hubler.com hotline, we have Mel McMahon. How you doing, Mel?
Good morning. Honestly, still recovering. I'm a little tired, but I feel just great and inspired, and the spirit of Christmas is alive and well.
What are you talking about? Did you do something this weekend?
Yeah, we had this little program called Radiothon where we're on the air for 36 hours trying to raise money for Central Indiana kids through the Salvation Army. You know, no big deal.
No biggie. So let me ask you, are you recovered?
You know, I'm still tired. I'm not going to lie, because there's so much work that goes into the event leading up to the broadcast. Then you have the 36 hours of the broadcast. Then you have the cleanup of the show and the data and the prize giveaways and all this stuff. So we're still technically working on Radiothon, but you know, I'm so excited about how things turned out, and our WIBC listeners are fantastic and so generous, and that keeps me going.
They are amazing. Okay, now when we first got on the phone, you said that you were still counting. You still have donations rolling in at this point. Is that true?
We do. So WIBCRadiothon.com is alive and well, and we have had listeners donating since we went off the air. We still have kettles from Sullivan Hardware and Garden that we need to count, and the new tip-tap technology where you can just tap the little $5 mark on the kettle, we still have to pull that report too. So the number that I can give you today is not exactly the final number, but it's still a great one.
Okay, now when things were, and I recall that you extended it, you were supposed to end at 6 o'clock on Saturday, and then you put the phone call into the boss and said, can we please go a half hour more until the IU game begins? And he apparently gave you permission, or you just blew him off because you did extend it till 6:30. And when things were wrapping up Saturday at 6:30, I saw the total, and it was a new record. But that total is still going up. So let's tell everybody, what was that total that was an all-time record for the WIBC Radiothon?
We are at $430,675.76.
Wow. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And Casey, you know, just 3 radiothons ago, our goal was $250,000. So to see how this has grown over the years, to see the generosity of Hoosiers continue to grow, and for people to really recognize the need and recognize the great work of the Salvation Army, I mean, that's a really big deal.
And that's a really, really big number. 430,000. What was it? 430? 676?
430-675.76.
Wow, amazing.
So thank you to Cynthia and Carmel for your $100, Dell and Fishers for your $100, Chad in Indianapolis, $52. I mean, people know there's a need, and they know the Salvation Army is going to help take care of it.
Okay, so that's about $200,000 more than in previous years. So what do you attribute that to?
Well, a lot of it's passion, right? Denny Smith kept saying, don't yell at me. And I'm like, I'm not yelling. I'm passionate. We have a formula. We know what people want to hear. We know what works. But really,
I heard Pat Sullivan say passionate. You're persistent, but passionate persistence.
Yes. Yes. But really, you know, the biggest difference over the last few years, honestly, is our corporate partners that have stepped up to give match dollars and give angel dollars and really give motivation for our listeners to chip in too. That's where we've seen a lot of growth, a lot of growth in those partnerships.
Okay, so you had put out there that the goal was 450,000, and you're at 430,000. You got to be feeling good about that. I know that's a little shy of the goal, but my goodness, it's so much bigger than it has been in previous years.
It's huge. It's huge. And, you know, the goals look a little different, right? The Salvation Army goal was 400. So we hit the official goal.
Gotcha.
Last year's record was 426,000. So we hit that. So my goal was to beat the record, but I really thought we could get to $450,000. Like, I still think there's someone out there listening that can go to WIBCRadiothon.com and chip in $10, chip in $100, chip in $500. And if everybody listening right now does that, we will hit that $450,000 goal. But you know what? I set really high expectations for myself, but I don't get disappointed if we don't hit the mark, because I'm so impressed with Hoosiers, and we still beat last year. And I think by our 30th anniversary, so this was our 28th, next year's 29th, 30th anniversary, I think by our 30th anniversary, we can hit $500,000.
I was going to say, you're going to go for $500,000, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's baby steps, right? The goal is to keep growing. If we raised less than last year, I would be very concerned. However, We still beat last year's record, and I'm so, so happy about that.
And when does the kettle money get put into that pot? When do they?
So that should be thrown in today. That
Okay.
should be counted today, and then we can throw that in.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll pull those Tip Tap records today, too.
So is this like a thing where we're going to have to check in with you daily?
Well,
because the number just keeps growing?
If it keeps growing, sure. You know, it used to be like, 6 p.m. when we were off the air, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when we only had a phone bank, right? You couldn't donate online. And so, and we had the entire finance department at Radiothon running manual credit card numbers, right? And they would count the kettles right then and there. So 6 p.m., that was the final number. Now with technology and the fact that you can still donate online at WIBCRadiothon.com, and the fact that we have kettles that have to go back to divisional headquarters to be counted now, that number, it does change the first couple of days. So I'm hoping tomorrow we should have the final number.
Okay.
So
now,
if it's a significant change, I'll let you know.
Okay. You let us know. And I heard you and Pat talking about how as soon as it wraps up, you take maybe a day and get some rest, and then you start working on next year. Have you guys done any analyzing of how things went, what you would change, what you would add, what you would do differently next year or going forward?
Oh, Casey, I started doing that in the car on my way home.
Did you really? Your wheels were spinning, huh?
They're already spinning because each year I want it to be bigger and better. And I look at the entire time because I'm there the whole broadcast, right? So I'm sitting there with every single host. I have last year's numbers pulled up next to this year's numbers. I'm looking at the future numbers, for the remaining hours. Like, I'm analyzing the whole time. And so I watch how people respond to stories. I watch when the phones are ringing in response to a guest we had on. I'm watching when the phones are ringing and those donations are coming in, after we have a band play. I'm watching all of that. And so I'm already thinking about how we move it around.
Did you determine how fantastic the Kendall and Casey show did?
It rocked. It rocked. We should have just had you guys on the whole time.
No, we want to give everybody a chance to contribute. That's the thing. So let's remind everybody the good work that the Salvation Army does.
Yeah. So the Salvation Army meets the needs of the community it's in. So what we were talking about at Radiothon is, making sure kids have presents under the tree at Christmas, ballet lessons, art classes, basketball teams, being able to go to Hidden Falls Camp in Bedford, Indiana, where a kid can pay just $10, but the Salvation Army covers the other $400 it costs to go there. We talked about protecting kids at the Women and Children's Shelter in downtown Indianapolis. We talked about giving kids their parents back when their parents get to go through the Harbor Light Center or the Adult Rehabilitation Center. It's all about preparing kids to be the leaders, right? We don't want kids to fall into the same trouble that their parents have had. We want to break those cycles, and that's what the Salvation Army is trying to do.
Well, Mel, you did a fantastic job. It was my first year being a part of the Radiothon, and I'm looking forward.
What'd you think?
I thought it was organized superb, and you guys all did a fantastic job, but I'm really, really most impressed with the WIBC listeners and just how generous they were, because $430,675.76. Wow, that's a nice chunk of change to help out our neighbors and our community and all of our friends in need here in Central Indiana. And you know what, Mel? I was also impressed by the contributions that were coming in from outside of Indiana. We had people contributing from Arizona and Florida who were listening online. So I just think it's a real testament to how passionate the WIBC audience is, and it's just fantastic. So hats off to you, and hats off to everybody, and Pat Sullivan and Denny Smith, who did a lot of hard work, but mostly I have to congratulate our audience because they stepped up in a big way.
We wouldn't have been able to do it 28 years without them, so I'm looking forward to year 29.
Yeah, all right. Well, thanks, Mel, and you keep counting, but try and get some rest in there, okay?
Thank you.
All right. It is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. Good morning.
There's only one company that meets the gold standard in hair restoration and hair transplants. We Grow Hair Indy. Hey, it's Rob, and I'm here with Darren Andrews. Darren, people are coming from all over the world to We Grow Hair Indy to grow their hair back.
Hey Rob, it's great to be here. Yes, they are. And Rob, as you well know, we are very proud of the technology and the results of We Grow Hair Indy. We Grow Hair Indy is one of only 2 places in the entire US that offers both the Artist Robotic FUE and our trademark procedure, multi-unit hair grafting.
We Grow Hair Indy filled in my crown area and restored the hair on the top of my head. Call 888-724-5129 for a free evaluation. That's 888-724-5129 and grow your hair back. The one company that has the best technology and results. WeGrowHairIndy.com, the gold standard in hair restoration.
Gather near and bring the cheer this holiday season. Dazzle and delight the love of your life with a gift from Hellsberg Diamonds. Don't miss great prices on stunning diamond studs, tennis bracelets, gemstone rings, and the year's must-have look, gold jewelry for stacking and layering. Another reason to go to Hellsberg? Get a free Microsoft Surface Laptop Go with a purchase of $1,699 or more. Visit Hellsberg.com or a store near you today. Limited time offer while supplies last. See online or in store for details.
Crew Car Wash books make the perfect holiday gift, and right now buy 4 Ultimate Washes and get 2 free, available online or at any Crew Car Wash location.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent America's Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Owner Danny Reinhardt's daughter, Kim, says her dad has a daily influence on the way customers are treated.
Dad's built a great business, and it's an honor to be able to keep carrying it on, and his work ethic and the way he treats customers, and that's something that I want to carry on and treat people the same way.
You can call on Reinhardt Heating and Cooling at 317-745-4526. Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
WIBC Bank, leading the way to your financial wellness. No matter where your financial journey begins, Pathways banking options at WIBC are designed with your goals in mind. WIBC Bank, building strong financial futures, one family, one street, one city at a time. WIBC, your partner in building business and growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
If you have certain chronic conditions such as heart disease, asthma, diabetes, and you're 19 years of age or older, 52, 36, 42, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I'm going to ask my doctor
about getting vaccinated
with Prevnar 20.
Coming up in 2 minutes. Great. Another case of bird flu in a flock in southern Indiana. What may have to happen next. Plus, what the numbers clearly say about pot in the Hoosier State. And Chris Davis reports on who else wants to be governor. All that and more coming up from the Shepherd Community Center studios after Fox News Radio at the top of the hour. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
He'll be in court in 3 hours. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Libyan, the U.S. took into custody yesterday Abu Aguila Mohammed Massoud, accused of making the bomb that blew up Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland 34 years ago.
He is the third person to be charged in this bombing, but the first suspect to actually face those charges physically on American soil. 2 others were charged, but they never came to the United States.
Fox's David Spunt outside the court in Washington. 270 people were killed when the flight blew up en route to New York. York, including Tom Ammerman. His brother Bert claims to Fox if the U.S. had retaliated against Libya right after, it might have prevented the 9/11 terror attacks.
When the United States did not respond, that told the world it's okay to attack the United States. And the likes of bin Laden started preparing even more vicious attacks.
Opening statements are this morning at another Capitol riot trial. 4 more members of the Oath Keepers far-right group faced the same rare seditious conspiracy charge. Group founder Stuart Rhodes was convicted of last month, accused of stockpiling weapons, plotting to block President Biden's election certification. A new surge of migrants has crossed the border into Texas amid the wave of people that's a record coming into the U.S. illegally.
An absolutely enormous migrant caravan of well over 1,000 people crossed illegally into El Paso last night. Fox News team there to record this. This was the single biggest mass crossing we have ever witnessed during all of our coverage at the border.
That's Fox's Bill Malugin in Rio Grande Valley in Texas. In China, another easing of the strict COVID lockdowns and policies that led to mass protests.
People in China have had to use a smartphone app to trace and record their travel. It was meant to identify who visited coronavirus hotspots. From midnight tonight, Beijing time, that app will stop working. It follows an unexpected announcement last week, which ended the most draconian COVID restrictions.
That's Jonathan Savage. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Yep, more bird flu. It's cloudy and 40 degrees downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. A turkey flock, nearly 12,000 birds strong, said to have initially tested positive for bird flu. It's in Davies County, making it the 15th different flock to get bird flu this season. The state conducting more tests this week to confirm if they did, and if they do get that confirmation, it could mean that most or all of that flock will have to be destroyed. Already over 170,000 birds have had to be killed this year because of bird flu. There is no denying the numbers.
The numbers are overwhelming. It's kind of, it's like only 15% of people said it should remain illegal.
Chad Kinsella, political scientist at Ball State, talking about marijuana. In a survey that they conducted recently, 85% of voting Hoosiers that they polled said that pot should be legal in some capacity in Indiana. Republicans in the State House remaining hesitant, though, with no serious plans this session to address it. She's quiet. She's also talking soybeans and agriculture a lot, and she wants to be your next governor. Chris Davis reports.
I have a vision for Indiana's future that I'd like to share with you. And it starts right here in our schools.
An ad from Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch posted to her new campaign website this morning. She promises you will have control over what your kids learn in school. Police will be funded and supported, and she has promised to fight policies that allow fentanyl to come into Indiana. Republican Mike Braun is also running. He's currently your senator. Other names have been thrown around as well, but nothing official from them yet. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A man found dead in a car near 38th and Sherman on the northeast side this morning, and police say it was a homicide. They aren't saying much about how that man was killed. The U-Indy chapter of the Food Recovery Network has saved 460 pounds of uneaten food from 4 Colts games at Lucas Oil Stadium this season.
We recovered some raw ingredients, produce, for example, fruits, things like that.
Executive Director Regina Anderson on Wish TV. FRN is an organization that typically saves food from college dining halls, then they donate it to charities that need it. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Imagine if you could get a 35% bonus when you invest your money. That's right. If you invest $100,000, you get a $35,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $70,000 bonus. If it sounds too good to be true, it's not. This is for real. And get this, you'll sleep well at night knowing your money is protected by some of the highest-rated insurance companies in the world. To get all the details, call Bill Demery, your retirement guy. He's helped hundreds of families retire successfully throughout Indy. Call 317-972-9172. Hey, this 35% bonus won't last forever, so call now. 317-972-9172. 317-972-9172.
A Christmas gift that is more alluring than lingerie? Naturally Nude Pajamas by Pajamagram. Sensuous and soft, they look just as seductive as they feel.
Order the Naturally Nude Pajamas today. Get a free matching Naturally Nude nightie. Available exclusively at pajamagram.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Diamond Engagement Ring Store.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is December 12th. It is 6 minutes after 10. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. This morning, Rob Kendall is off, and in his place, Brad Klopfenstein joins us. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Hello, Casey. Thanks for having me.
You going to get your parking validated today?
With any luck, I will get validated parking for being here today.
Because we know you're working for free right now. They can at least pay for your parking,
exactly.
Right?
At some point this morning, I have two things I'm going to plug. That is my payment.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll get to that in just a bit. But first, we have to talk about Elon Musk. It's time for our Elon update. Elon tweeted out that his pronouns are prosecute Fauci. The comments came after the release of the fourth installment of the Twitter files on Saturday. They reportedly show how Twitter, before Musk took over, violated its own policies in preventing the spread of accurate information regarding the Hunter Biden laptop story ahead of the 2020 election. So the documents also support how on January 7th, the day after what happened at the Capitol, Twitter executives, with pressure from former First Lady Michelle Obama, created justification to ban Donald Trump off of Twitter. And journalist Barry Weiss reported how the documents show senior Twitter executives created secret blacklists to de-amplify disfavored Twitter users, not just specific tweets. So shadow banning, is it real? No. Yes.
It happened.
Yes.
It happened. So, yeah, that's the more that this comes out. I mean, you always know that Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Yes, they will promote some things more than others. Just they go with whatever they find of interest. But yeah, it's curious that suddenly, Michelle Obama chimes in, and suddenly they're wiping out Trump. Obviously they keep putting out more. But I think this tells you that yes, if you're not one of the favored few, Twitter's not for you.
Yeah. Elon Musk got a lot of backlash for what he said about his pronouns being prosecute Fauci. And he said, forcing your pronouns upon others when they didn't ask and implicitly ostracizing those who don't is neither good nor kind to anyone. And he said, as for Fauci, he lied to Congress and funded gain-of-function research that killed millions of people. Not awesome, in my opinion. And it looks like the next Twitter files dump is going to be about Fauci and COVID. And it's a slow roll coming out, kind of like that document about the Royals. It's a slow roll. There was word that it was going to come out before the weekend was over, and it hasn't. And now they've said it's going to take a few days.
Well, just like Yellowstone, you can't dump all of your programming all at once. You got to spread this out over time so that you continue to be relevant.
Do you think that has anything to do with it? Like he's trying to increase engagement, and that's why it's taking a long time?
Yes, because if he dumped it all at once, it's one news cycle and everybody moves on. Now, on a weekly basis, you and I got to talk about the latest dump. And yeah, that's strategic.
Yeah,
because it keeps Twitter top of mind. I mean, I think that this is somewhat genius because he is making Twitter more relevant because he's getting people to use it to see what all he has to say.
Another thing that's being reported is that he's increasing the price for Twitter Blue to get your check mark, and there's other things.
It's no longer going to be $8?
No, he's going to raise it to $11. I believe starting today is when that happens. And he also said that the character limit will be raised. He was asked the question, will you increase the character limit to 4,000? And he said yes.
So Rob's rants can now be much, much longer.
Can you imagine?
That's like 10 times what it is now,
book.
right?
Yeah. Well, it originally started out at 140, and then it was increased to 280. And now Elon Musk is saying they're going to increase it to 4,000. So you can get a lot off of your chest in 4,000 characters.
So Reader's Digest will not be one of the users of this new 4,000 character Twitter platform.
Well, since Twitter 5.0 is most likely about Fauci, I thought it would be fun to remind everybody. Rand Paul still wants to investigate him even after he retires. Fauci, he's stepping aside at the end of this month, any day now. And Rand Paul saying, nope, even if he retires, I still want to investigate him. So let's remind everybody of the video that Rand Paul played of Fauci during a Senate hearing.
But she's had the flu for 14 days. Should she get a flu shot?
Well, no. If she got the flu for 14 days, she's as protected as anybody can be, because the best vaccination is to get infected yourself.
And
so
if
she really has the flu, she definitely doesn't need a flu vaccine. If she really has the flu.
She should not get it again.
No, she doesn't need it.
Flip-flopping Fauci. Is he your favorite bobblehead?
No, it's
least favorite.
Yeah, I'd never heard of him until 2020. I wish I'd never heard of him now.
Mm-hmm.
Some could argue that he was using the best information he had available, but it became clear at some point. It's like, no, he is making this stuff up
as he goes along.
Yeah.
Social distancing, 6 feet apart. That's the number. That's the one we're going to go with.
Oh,
wear a mask, don't wear a mask.
It made families have arguments because somebody was 5 feet instead of 6 or maybe 12. I mean, and that still goes on today. If you look at the damage he did to society, it is immense.
Yeah. And even as we head into Christmas, he's still saying that we might have to consider lockdowns again because of flu and RSV and COVID.
He might say that, but I promise you the American public will tell him to get bent.
Biden spokesperson John Kirby denies that the administration tried to censor via Twitter.
A couple of weeks ago, you had a conversation with my colleague Martha McCallum. It was in the context of Apple and what it's doing in China. You said this: we aren't in the business of telling private companies how to execute their initiatives. But it appears from these revelations from inside of Twitter, there were regular meetings between executives there, the FBI, DHS, the DNI. Flagging tweets, expressing their concerns, it seems trying to drive certain conversations. So should or shouldn't the federal government, federal agencies, in your words, be directing private companies on how to execute their initiatives?
We aren't directing private social media companies on how to manage their content. These are decisions that they have to make as appropriate. Now, look, we obviously don't want to see, the public square polluted with hate speech and disinformation. That's not a good use of the information environment for the American people. But it's up to these social media companies to determine how they're going to manage their content, how they are going to deliver that content to their users.
Mm-hmm. They are managing it now with Elon at the helm. He's saying transparency. Let's show everybody everything, and that's what they're doing. And it started with the Hunter Biden laptop, and then it moved to banning Trump and all the behind-the-scenes backdoor stuff we had going on there, and even after the urging of Michelle Obama. And now Twitter Files 5.0 could be about COVID. And let's listen to Karine Jean-Pierre, and Jen Psaki, back-to-back, contradicting each other regarding the administration's efforts and policies in regards to social media. Listen to this. They're saying the opposite.
And I was wondering if anyone in the Biden administration was in touch with Baker, either regarding moderation decisions that critics call political censorship or regarding his transparency efforts recently.
So it's up to private companies to make these types of decisions. We were not involved.
We are in regular touch with these social media platforms, and those engagements typically happen through members of our senior staff. We're flagging problematic posts for Facebook that spread disinformation.
We are not involved. We're in regular contact with them.
We're flagging, but we're not involved, but we're flagging those posts. A, the government should not be in charge or even be involved in flagging posts or telling private businesses what they should take down. However, in the previous clip, the public square, if you look at the comments section, whether it be on WIBC, whether it be on my Facebook page, your Facebook page, the Indy Star, the comment section always turns into a Thunderdome and doesn't seem to serve the public good. Twitter is basically just the comments section of any forum. So you're right. You're not going to get generally good, positive feedback. It's just not what it's designed to do.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC, and that is Brad Klopfenstein filling in for Rob, who is out today. And if you've ever considered moving, chances are you might be looking at Florida. Also, your Costco membership. We're going to talk about that. And you've got something on your mind that you want to talk about, right?
Oh, just a couple things.
Okay.
So my day job is I run the Lawrence Chamber of Commerce, and we have two big things coming up this week.
Okay, we're going to get to those.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Tease ahead.
All right, that's on the way from 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
A poll of 2,000 Americans, Hammer, found people who enjoy spicy food are more likely to think they're hot.
Okay.
62% of spicy food lovers find themselves attractive.
And that makes sense because I enjoy spicy food, and hot damn am I sexy.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
You'll be talking to family and friends on the phone during the holidays, so make sure everyone enjoys the conversation, including those with hearing loss. RelayIndiana.com provides captioned telephones that allow the hard of hearing to have normal phone conversations through voice recognition technology. The other person's words appear on an easy-to-read screen. Don't let those with hearing loss become isolated during the holidays. Get the CapTel captioned telephone from Relay Indiana. Learn more at RelayIndiana.com.
It's a new day because COVID vaccines just got a big update. So all the big stuff coming up this fall? Well, now you can say, you bet I'll be there. Because updated COVID vaccines protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron. And everyone 5 and older can get one. So this is a moment we've all been waiting for.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Express the heartwarming message of Christmas this year and give her a diamond engagement ring from Pierce Jewelers that says, I love you. Remember, shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's just a little crazy.
He's a little crazy. And Casey Daniels.
Oh, man, she's fascinating.
On 93 WIBC.
Merry Christmas,
18 minutes after 10, you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Rob is out today and Brad Klopfenstein is filling in. So how long have you lived in Lawrence?
I've lived in Lawrence just over 3 years.
Have you ever thought about moving out?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, I've thought about moving probably daily, especially when we haven't seen the sun in a week.
Mm-hmm. And have you thought about moving to Florida?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, my dad lived in Florida for 3 years, and I was a very dutiful son, went down and visited often when he was in the Tampa area and enjoyed hanging out by his pool. So yes, I would, Sheila and I often talk about Florida, Arizona, Thailand.
Nearly 25% of U.S. home buyers are looking to move out of their current place, and many people turning their attention to Florida. I think I know why. I mean, we can't all live there, right?
No, we can't.
The whole country can't move to Florida.
I would have thought that this hurricane that went through a couple months ago might have shooed a few people out because, you know, I guess everywhere you live is going to have some sort of potential natural disaster. Florida gets hurricanes. California has earthquakes. Indiana has that random tornado that can wander through. But the fact is, it's nice and it's warm. And with air conditioning, you can kind of take the edge off of a humid summer day. So why not go to Florida?
Okay, so let's do a little comparing and contrasting. So in Florida, you've got warm weather, great beaches, no state taxes, no state income taxes, and Ron DeSantis. Let's see, what do we have here? We don't get the year-round warm weather.
We have corn.
We do have corn. We get a permacloud sometimes.
Yeah, the permacloud comes in November and leaves sometime in February. However, Southern Indiana in particular, is beautiful. If you go through the rolling hills, I even like the flatlands up in kind of northwest Indiana. I was up there on Saturday in White County.
But what a difference between Ron DeSantis and Eric Holcomb, though.
There is a big difference. I know Rob's best friend, Eric Holcomb. Rob is very harsh on him, but Rob is right in some regards that. And this could be said for all Republicans, be it Rod Bray, Todd Houston, Governor Holcomb, that you've got super majorities. Anything you've ever thought of wanting to do, you could do. You want to reduce the size of government, you can make it happen. You want to do a tax cut, you can make it happen. You want to fund mental health, you can make it happen. And there seems to be somewhat of a lack of initiative. I don't know. I don't know why they don't put me in charge. Casey, I have run for office. You'll find this hard to believe. I have not won.
You could get it done, though, huh?
I could get it done. Just give me a chance.
Half of the top 10 migration destinations on this list are Florida cities. So people wanting to move to Sacramento, California, Las Vegas, Miami, San Diego, Tampa, Phoenix, like you mentioned, Cape Coral, Sarasota, Dallas, and Orlando.
Now, didn't you briefly live in Florida?
I did, in Tallahassee, but I will tell you, living there is different than vacationing there.
Right.
And a lot of people think, oh, it'd be great to live in Florida. Yeah, it is great for some of the reasons we mentioned, like the warm weather, the great beaches, the no state income tax, and Ron DeSantis. But living there full time, you're not on vacation all the time. You still have to go to work. And every spring, there is this, it's allergy season, of course, but they have this algae that covers everything with green. So you go out to your car in the morning and you have to clean it off because it's just this green layer that is on everything. And it lasts a couple weeks and then it goes away. And we won't even talk about the critters that, are everywhere.
I played golf down there with my dad this 20 years ago or more. And yeah, it's weird. You're on the tee box and there's an alligator off to the side of the tee box.
Or you're at a restaurant and you're eating outside and all of a sudden the snake falls from the tree a foot from you. So different things you have to deal with. But a lot of people looking at Florida as a place to move to. Do you have a Costco membership?
No, I do not.
Okay, well, if you did, your membership cost is potentially going to raise. The CFO, just like Sam's Club and Amazon, said that their membership fee is going to go up. It's not a question of if, it's just a question of when. And he said that historically they elevate the cost of your membership fee every 5 years. And it's been 5 years and 7 months since it happened. The last time was in June of 2017. And he said, yeah, it's time to raise the membership. They're going to keep the price of the hot dog the same. However, your membership is going to go up.
So effectively, the price of the hot dog went up. Now, do you have a Costco membership?
Yes, I do. And
what is $65 a year?
Yeah, I get the bulk items there: the paper towel, the toilet paper, things like that.
Now, Costco is just one step short of just buying the toilet paper factory. Because if you're having to buy it a gross at a time.
My problem with the bulk is, where do you store it?
That's just it.
If you have a smaller place with not a lot of closets or a big pantry, you have to put that item someplace where you can get it later. But why don't you have one?
There's two people in my household. I probably cook one meal a week at home that lasts us for a couple meals. We just don't need a lot of things in bulk, as well as I'm a big buy local kind of guy. I mean, my entire job is to get people to spend money in Lawrence and keep their money in Lawrence. Costco does not generally offer local goods.
Yeah.
And it's ultimately, I don't think Costco is good for supporting a local economy.
Okay, now you had mentioned Lawrence, and you've got something that you wanted to talk about from the chamber.
There's two things that we're doing this week. So one, Wednesday, we're working with the Lawrence Firefighters Family Assistance Fund. We are doing a toy drive for underprivileged kids in Lawrence. That's going to be Wednesday, 4:30 to 7:30 at Hillcrest Country Club on Fall Creek Road.
Is this new toys?
The new toys. So price of admission is a new unwrapped toy. And there will be appetizers and beverages and music and festivities. So it's kind of the Chamber's Christmas party, but then it's for a good cause. The Sports Page Lounge, they've been calling me about every 3 days to come empty their bin of toys. So the bed of my truck is now overflowing with toys.
Good.
So I'm excited. There's been lots of good response. And then this Saturday, I have a personal appearance. I get to MC Winterfest. It's going to be at Lawrence Civic Plaza. So from 6 to 8 p.m., the band The Copper Stills are playing a free outdoor concert. There will be food trucks. You can bring your own cooler of beverages of your choice. But I will be there introducing the band, talking up Lawrence, talking up you. I might even give a shout out, Casey. And you are welcome to come join me. Hopefully it'll be warm.
Yeah. Outdoor event. And what time does that start?
That's 6 to 8 p.m.
Great.
Free.
Okay. So this is how it works. You work for free, but you get to mention those things.
Plug all. Hey, Lawrence is the center.
Check.
Lawrence is the center of the universe. You might not know it now, but our listeners will know it soon enough.
All right. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC featuring guest star Brad Klopfenstein. Good morning.
My husband and I live next door to a haunted graveyard. It's a little creepy, but we manage. Just like we manage without home internet. Do I wish my mobile hotspot was faster? Yes, but I make it work. Kinda. Just like we make it work sleeping next to a 17th century burial ground.
Honey, can you move your hand?
That's not my hand.
It's mine.
Not having home internet? It's not that bad.
It is that bad. Don't settle. Switch to Xfinity and get one line of unlimited mobile and home internet together for $50 a month for 12 months. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit your local Xfinity store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New Connect Internet customers only on one-year contract. Internet included for 12 months. New Xfinity mobile account required. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Xfinity post-pay internet required for Xfinity mobile. Additional devices extra. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes of data usage. Offer ends 12/21/22.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
You don't have to go through yet another year with that knee pain or back pain. Hoosiers with chronic joint pain are getting real lasting relief from QC Kinetics. Tony Katz here, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine, utilizing protocols that use healing agents from your own body to target aching joints, repairing and restoring damaged tissue. You can move again with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. So if you have shoulder pain, hip pain, if you have arthritis pain or lingering pain from an injury, do not let them operate on you or give you more steroids. Say no to the pain pills. Call QC Kinetics in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. See if their life-changing all-natural treatments can get you living your best life in the new year. I'm telling you, people right here in Indy are raving about these treatments. This is the future of joint pain management, and appointments are available as soon as the next week. Make 2023 the year you say goodbye to joint pain. Call QC Kinetics right now in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. It's a totally free consultation. Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They may finally get justice. It's cloudy and 40 degrees downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. The man accused of the terror attack on a plane over Lockerbie, Scotland 34 years ago will finally have his day in court.
Abu Ajila Mohammed Massoud will face justice after he was accused of building the bomb that killed 270 people, including 190 Americans. The suspect now in U.S. custody after 2 years of negotiations. He was previously in prison in Libya on separate charges. Massoud will be the only one of 3 people charged in connection to the attack to take the stand in an American courtroom.
Fox's Todd Pyro. Brittany Griner is back on a basketball court for the first time in nearly a year. Her agent told ESPN the Phoenix Mercury star laced up a pair of sneakers and had a light workout yesterday while at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio. Her first move back on the floor was a dunk. Griner has been in San Antonio since leaving a Russian prison last week. ESPN added that Griner has no plans to leave the Lone Star State yet, but may issue a statement sometime this week. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
So, first day at your new job. A lot of nerves, right? Not really. Why? Because when you were getting your associate degree at Ivy Tech Community College, you received hands-on training on state-of-the-art technology. Most of it the same equipment you'll be working on today. You're ready because the staff and faculty at Ivy Tech made sure of it. They met you where you were at, then helped you get where you were going. A new career paying $10,000 more a year than what you can get with just a high school diploma. And it all started at ivytech.edu.
Pierce Jewelers has the perfect sparkle to put under the tree this Christmas. So don't be a Grinch. Spoil your loved one with a little blue box from Pierce Jewelers in Carmel.
All discounts on routine well and pump maintenance right now. Believe me, preventive maintenance works. Call C&J at 317-852-WELL or cjforwater.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So sorry you have just reached my answering machine. I'm not in
317-684-8444. That's our phone number if you'd like to leave us a message or comment on something. And we started off the show talking about Brittany Griner and her release from the Russian prison and how Victor Bout is now out and apparently already at work.
He is at work. He wasted no time.
Yeah.
How long had we detained him?
How long
did we have him in custody?
Was it 16 years?
Something.
Yeah, it was a while.
You'd think that he might be due a vacation or something. I'm a little surprised he's back to work so soon.
What was he doing? He was sitting around. I mean...
Well, that's true. It's not like it was real stressful. He was just there waiting his turn, apparently.
Well, we've got some people who want to comment on this story.
I can't wait to hear.
All right, let's see.
Hey, I heard on you guys' news report that Brittany Griner was happy about coming back into America. How can she be happy about coming back to a racist, oppressive, homophobic nation like this, where she can smoke all the dope she wants and nobody says a word? Huh? I don't understand that. Bye.
He's being sarcastic.
What?
Yeah. Yes.
That ruined my whole thought on that call.
But, yeah, it just kind of goes back to, I think the best thing that she can do for her image is go to one single high-profile event, put her hand over her heart, sing as loudly as she can the national anthem, and just show humility, gratitude, appreciation, be graceful, and then that's it.
Do you think that she will play this WNBA season? And if so, will attendance at her game spike?
Will they go up compared to others?
Yeah.
Were they attended well before?
No.
Okay. Well...
I think they've got nowhere to go but up.
If they did, it would probably be a short-lived thing.
Yeah.
Just let's go see, and then it would fall back to normal levels. Okay, 317-684-8444. That's the number. What's next?
Yes, I wanted to bet my wife this morning $100 that this basketball player that we traded this killer for will be making an appearance at the White House, and I bet she'll get some kind of gold award for being a hero. So Joe thinks more of a basketball player than he does a Marine that's been captured by Russians for 4 years. So here's the deal. If you get captured by the Russians, hey, I play basketball. I have nothing to do with the military or defending my country. God, I can't believe it more.
I like the growl at
Yeah,
the end.
that's the growl of frustration, right? Oh, I can't believe it. So I saw Steph Curry, basketball player, posted something about thanking her for her sacrifice, which I thought was an interesting turn of phrase.
If you're watching the YouTube feed, you can see my eyebrows going up and down very inquisitively.
What did she sacrifice?
I don't know that she sacrificed anything. She was forcibly detained, but no, she got herself in a pickle, and the United States had to bail her out.
Yeah. Don't play by the rules. Those are the consequences.
Yeah.
It's your choice. And the thing that just keeps blowing my mind that I just keep going back to is the fact that there was a travel advisory. Don't go there. Years ago, my dude, the associate, was offered to go to Ukraine. People came over to America and they were trying to learn broadcasting, and they were going to take that information back to Ukraine. And this was right around the time of Crimea was going on, and he said, "No, I am not going." And I thought, well, come on, that's a chance of a lifetime to go to this other country and see how it's done over there. And he said, "No, like, read the news. It's not safe. We're not going. I'm not going." And he never went. And hindsight, he made the right choice.
Yes.
But if you're aware of situations and our government is saying, high travel risk, don't go, especially don't go and break their laws.
So I'm assuming there's places on the globe that you would not go for those reasons.
Right now, yes.
Like, would you go to any Muslim country that would force you to wear a head covering?
No, I wouldn't feel safe. I wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
I mean, why would I do that? Why would you put yourself in that position? And then you've put your country in a position now. And all the people that are detained across the globe are now what? The world knows how we deal, what our trade is.
So what do you think the United States would trade for a Casey Daniels?
A Coke and a smile. Probably nothing. All right, what's next, Kevin?
A motivation to vote. Let's look at the wonderful city of Anderson in Madison County. Primary election this year. There were no referendums to vote against. Many of the Republican spots on the ballot were blank with nobody running. And the two people that I wanted to vote against most, Sparks and Young, didn't have a challenger. So there was zero motivation to vote in the primary. Come the general, obviously voted so I could vote against Todd Young for because it meant voting for the Democrat, even though I was really tempted to do it. And voting against Holcomb didn't do anything either. So you kind of become disenfranchised after a while. Now, come the next primary election, if Holcomb's in the race, of course I'll vote in that because I want to vote against Holcomb. But if Holcomb wins the primary, there's no sense in even bothering to vote the general because Holcomb's going to run away with it. He'll do just like he did with Rainwater. If you try and vote against him in the general, he'll go ahead and replace the conservative votes with Democrat votes and further disenfranchise and people from voting in the future.
We were talking about what motivates people to vote. Is it to go vote for someone, or is it to vote against someone?
Sadly, it's become to vote against someone.
And that's what he just said. He wanted to vote against Todd Young, but there wasn't a challenger in that race.
This man, I think, is slowly starting to realize what I've talked about often, what Rob has talked about often. The political parties, the Republican and Democrat Party, do not want you to have choices. They try to restrict who gets on the ballot in the primaries. They just passed the law a year ago that says if you wanted to run in a primary, not only did you have to vote in that party's primary in the last election, you had to vote in their primary in the last two elections. Otherwise, you have to go grovel at the feet of the county chair and say, "Can I please run?" And the county chair will most likely say no.
Suzanne Crouch just officially announced that she is going to run for governor of Indiana. So There's another option there. We now know we have officially 3 candidates.
So there's doubt. Well, and I think Jim Merritt's still running. I think there's 4.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Although I haven't yet seen the official announcement from Mike Braun.
No.
He filed the paperwork, but he hasn't.
Just opened the committee.
Yeah, he still hasn't come out and officially said. All right, we've got more calls. What's up next, Kevin?
Hi, yeah. So recently I escaped from Australia. And not to say we should be like Australia, because that would be odd right now to say, but they do have it for their voting that it's compulsory, meaning that if you don't vote, you're fined. And I believe that they deduct it from your tax return. So I know that we don't make it that easy for people to vote. Maybe we should have it that everything is closed that day for work or whatever, so that people can get to the polls, and maybe we can have the people that are counting the votes do some kind of a class to understand how to count votes properly. But possibly if we do it compulsory, people wouldn't want to have to pay if they don't vote. Just a thought. Thanks for what you do, you guys. I listen to you every week when I'm driving, and I really like what you're saying. Thank you.
Can you imagine the money grab there? Fine people for not voting?
I've always kind of been fine with people not voting, just because typically those people would be ill-informed voters anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the notion that the people who are showing up at least have some idea of what's going on.
You think so? You think they have an idea? You think they're just doing...
Come on, Casey, let me dream.
Straight ticket.
Please just let me dream. Indiana needs to get rid of straight ticket voting.
Okay.
I will harp on that all day long because it makes it way too easy to vote for people who have not earned your vote.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Fining people for not voting.
So it's interesting, but maybe they would participate and pay more attention. Depends what the fine is.
Okay, what else do we have, Kevin?
Yeah, we're listening to asking about why nobody votes. It just seems that you get bent over and taken advantage of by either party. It don't matter. They're both going to do the same thing to you. So I think everybody's just tired of it. Same thing. It don't matter who you vote for. It's the same thing. They just call it a different name. And Kendall, you say the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over every day. Later.
Okay, so yeah, it is. It's the same pool of people.
He's right.
Just moving around on the chessboard, right?
But when are people going to understand the Republicans and Democrats generally only stand for seizing power and having the power? No matter what you think they stand for, that's not what they stand for. They just stand for seizing power.
They stand for getting a job.
Right. And I mean, Rob has sat here, I have sat here, and we have just beat the libertarian drum. There is a party out there that actually stands for something that's not bought and sold, but at least so far, there's not enough people voting for them to get the other two parties to stop doing what they're doing.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC, and that is Brad Klopfenstein filling in for Rob today. All right, Kevin, let's get to our very last phone call. I believe it's a question that is directed towards you.
Hey, this call is actually for Kevin. It's kind of off topic of today. It goes back to, I think, early in the week when you were talking about top drummers, contemporary mostly, because I didn't get to see the whole list or hear it. So I wanted to ask Kevin, what about Jen Ledger, if he knows who she is, if they even had a female drummer in that top 20. Jen Ledger is with Skillet. So if you could check her out, man, she is excellent. But I didn't even get to hear the whole list. So anyway, that was just a question for Kevin. Thank you. Bye. Oh, by the way, this was Jeff. Bye.
So, Kevin, have you heard this drummer from Skillet?
I had not heard of Jen Sledger, but this morning when I was supposed to be getting work done, I was watching a video of her playing a drum solo, and I was impressed.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I also saw a picture of her singing while playing, so I think she wins points for that.
You like a drummer who can sing while they play.
Yeah.
You sing while you play, don't you?
Yeah, it's kind of tough. It's not an easy thing to do. But
I was going to say, how do you do that? Because you got to keep the beat, and then at the same time, you're thinking of lyrics. Are you like? I know your foot is keeping the beat.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Like when you're counting in your head and you're playing the drums at the same time while you're singing?
It's just muscle memory, just rehearsing it over and over again, and then eventually, hopefully it becomes second nature.
And can you walk and chew gum at the same time too?
Yeah, kind of.
Runs the board.
Same thing, muscle memory. Kevin, you guys did a really good job at Radiothon. I finally got to see Kevin play. And I was so impressed. I was so impressed because he was drumming and singing at the same time.
Casey, I don't know if you know this. Kevin big-timed me. Uno Gold. I gave Uno Gold an offer to come play Winterfest out in Lawrence.
Did he? He had too much going on, huh?
They are way busy and booked.
Yeah, the holiday seasons. It's pretty busy at this time of year.
Were you able to grab the song? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was their, I don't know, it wasn't an encore, but it was the grand finale for Uno Gold out at Radiothon. They actually invited Denny Smith up on stage to play with them.
And how was that?
Hey, they sounded, will you be the judge?
Yeah, he played the Jingle Bells, and he's done that for us once before. And yeah, he's excellent.
So I thought to get us into break, Hammer's going to join us next, but to get us into break, this is what Uno Gold sounded like at Radiothon this weekend with 93 WIBC.
Indy's #1 for new country.
I got some famous friends. Long neck, high skull beard, never broke my.
Nobody plays more new country. Till you can. 97.1 Hank FM.
Is your home really ready for the holiday season? As you're putting up your Christmas decorations this year, pay attention to your home siding. There are lots of new vibrant siding colors out there, and new siding can give your home a much-needed facelift. Moss Roofing offers James Hardy siding that comes with a 15-year warranty. It's low maintenance, and it will give your home the durability it deserves this winter and many winters to come. Not only will you get great curb appeal from James Hardy siding, you won't have to think about the siding on your home for a long, long time. And that's a pretty great gift for the holiday season. Moss Roofing is a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of serving Central Indiana. Moss Roofing experts offer residential and commercial roofing repairs and replacements, gutters, and insulation services. Call Moss Roofing today, 317-527-4393, 317-527-4393, or visit mossroofing.com. That's MOSS, mossroofing.com, mossroofing.com.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years and helps keep Central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning. The Kirbys have been in business for nearly 4 decades, and son Robert says his parents' business practices won't ever change.
I love the way that they've ran the business, treat the customer right. Word of mouth is our biggest advertisement, so you treat people right and they're going to recommend you 10 times more, so it's been great.
Call Jessica, Lloyd, Robert, and Adam at Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning at 317-892-3614. Kirby is your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
500 Guns is just east of the Speedway and the Viaduct on 16th Street. Joe and Guy Montgomery are the experts to trust when you want to buy or sell guns. They buy single guns or entire collections. If you've decided this is the year to become a gun owner or to add to your collection, don't buy until you visit 500 Guns. Contrary to what many think, you actually can get better pricing at 500 Guns than at the big box stores, and a lot better service. See them today. 500 Guns, West 16th Street, Indianapolis.
From the beginning to the bell ringing and on to bigger, better things, Franciscan Health's cancer specialists in Indiana and Illinois provide care before, during, and beyond your treatment. We get to know you, your family, and sometimes even your pets. We are dedicated to fighting your cancer because your life matters. for advanced treatments, clinical trials, nurse navigators, and compassionate teams of experts who specialize in every cancer type. Make an appointment at franciscanhealth.org/cancercare.
It's Terry Stacy, and when I hear the word free, my ears perk up a little bit. So listen to this December deal from Exercise Inc., the 20-minute once-a-week workout that will change your life. Sign up right now in December, mention WIBC, and you get 2 sessions free. Now, most people gain 5 pounds during the holidays and then spend the next 5 months trying to lose it. Don't be that person. Come to Exercise Inc. in December, and you'll get a coach who will help you get stronger, feel better, and start losing weight right now. You'll increase your metabolism, you'll feel fantastic, and enjoy the holidays a whole lot more. Don't wait until January. Give yourself a gift that truly will change your life. Exercise Inc. for all ages, no crowded gym, and you'll have a coach that's by your side during your 20-minute once-a-week workout. Exercise Inc.'s December deal at all 4 locations. Sign up now, mention WIBC, and get 2 free sessions. Visit exerciseinc.com for a location near you.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Hey, we're pretty social people at WIBC. You can find us all over social media. See what we're up to on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. We're never more than just away. Just search for 93 WIBC.
I pulled into Nazareth, was feeling about half-past dead.
Good morning. It is 10:51. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Brad Klopfenstein is filling in for Rob today, and Hammer's in the studio. Okay, I've been holding on to this story until you got in the studio because I have to get your take on this. Have you heard about the Mickey Mantle handwritten questionnaire that sold at auction over the weekend?
So what we're dealing with here is a lewd, nude, dead Hall of Famer in the news. That's what we're dealing with here. I love this story.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is this questionnaire that was sold over the weekend for $242,000. Okay.
It's been a big year for Mickey Mantle,
Yeah,
by the
it
way.
has.
Like, one of his early rookie baseball cards sold at some auction for like $12 million earlier this year.
Yeah.
And now this questionnaire that was sent out by the Yankees as they were trying to celebrate 50 years of Yankee Stadium, and they had the players do this little interview thing and turn it into management about their favorite memories. Mickey Mantle's answer is by far the best.
How do we even say what the answer was?
Do you have it written down in front of you?
I kind of.
Here, let me see it. I'm going to do my best to try to weed through this here. Because if anybody gets fired, I want it to be me and not you.
It's on the very bottom there. So Mickey Mantle was asked about his most outstanding experience at Yankee Stadium.
Right. And in typical Mickey Mantle fashion, who anybody that follows baseball, Brad, you know this.
Oh, yeah.
He was a man that enjoyed the nightlife of New York City more than most. I mean, he was the biggest rock star in that city, the star of the Yankees, a good-looking guy. Everybody loved him at a time in New York where you could run around and just do all types of debauchery. So he fills out this questionnaire, turns it back into management, that his favorite experience at Yankee Stadium was receiving the act of fellatio under the bleachers by the bullpen at Yankee Stadium. It was in between the 4th and the 5th inning, but he thinks that she was a really nice girl.
She was a very nice girl. Oh, can you imagine? And somebody wants that.
Well, of course they do. That's an amazing piece of memorabilia.
Yes. That's history. Mickey Mantle got lucky under the bleachers at Yankee Stadium. I want a copy of that.
That's such a Mickey Mantle answer. If anybody saw the movie 61, I believe Billy Crystal was the director of it. It was about the home run race of 1961, Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris. And those guys couldn't be more different, right? Roger Maris was having this once-in-a-lifetime type of season, and he didn't want the press. His hair was falling out. He was stressed out. Mickey Mantle was having a great time. He was boozing it up and banging broads, and I mean, he was Mr. New York City.
Okay, now if this is true, someone's grandmother has one heck of a story to tell.
I have said this often, that just look around you. There were prostitutes 40 years ago There were strippers around. They are somebody's mother, grandmother. I mean, yes, I'm sure we've run across them.
That is such a Mickey Mantle answer.
Is that where the term spitball came from?
Stop it! Stop it!
All right, what do you have coming up this afternoon?
You guys got a lot of growing up to do around here, I'll tell you that. Gun Guy Relford joins us, Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch, and we'll talk about the biggest stories in Indy.
Thanks, Sammer. Sounds good. All right, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC with special guest Brad Klopfenstein. Good morning.
Go down, Miss Moses, there's nothing you can say.
There's no gift that's more beautiful, more versatile, and more meaningful than a beautiful piece of jewelry. And there's no better place to shop than Diamonds Direct, where celebrating memorable moments is our specialty. This holiday season, we've put together our most impressive selection of can't-miss gifts. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands for every taste and every price range. And don't worry about higher prices and high interest rates. At Diamonds Direct, we've got your back with our guaranteed best value pricing and 3 years zero interest financing on any holiday purchase. That's right, zero interest financing. So that $5,000 Eternity Band is just over $138 a month. With this special offer, everything's affordable. So come to Diamonds Direct. Let our experts help you choose that perfect showstopper gift for this holiday season. Get holiday store hours, directions, finance details, and see our all-new online gift guide at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Imagine if you could get a 35% bonus when you invest your money. That's right. If you invest $100,000, you get a $35,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $70,000 bonus. If it sounds too good to be true, it's not. This is for real. And get this, you'll sleep well at night knowing your money is protected by some of the highest rated insurance companies in the world. To get all the details, call Bill Demery, your retirement guy. He's helped hundreds of families retire successfully throughout Indy. Call 317-972-9172. Hey, this 35% bonus won't last forever. So call now, 317-972-9172. 317-972-9172.
You'll be talking to family and friends on the phone during the holidays, so make sure everyone enjoys the conversation, including those with hearing loss. RelayIndiana.com provides captioned telephones that allow the hard of hearing to have normal phone conversations through voice recognition technology. The other person's words appear on an easy-to-read screen. Don't let those with hearing loss become isolated during the holidays. Get the CapTel captioned telephone from Relay Indiana. Learn more at RelayIndiana.com.
Dell Technologies' Days of Deals for Business start now with fresh, limited quantity deals on tech to drive productivity. Save on select performance laptops and desktops powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything, and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Good morning, it's Casey, and let's review some reviews of Galaxy Concrete Coating. Clay said, Galaxy did a great job on our garage floor. Everyone we dealt with was professional and knowledgeable. Tom said, great work, love our new floor. And Alyssa said, Ben and Chase did an excellent job with the garage coating. They both worked efficiently with great skill, and our garage looks fantastic. Your garage can look fantastic, but you got to call them, 317-751-9070. That's 317-751-9070. For more reviews, before and after pictures, and a free quote, find them online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Jewelry, rings, diamonds, and watches are just a few possible Christmas gifts at Pierce Jewelers. Let them help you celebrate that special moment with your loved one. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Local news in 2 minutes from the Shepherd Community Center studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
It's a crime that dates back to 1988. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Libyan accused of making the bomb that blew up Pan Am Flight 103 over Scotland, due in court in Washington in 2 hours.
I'm satisfied with the announcement yesterday, but after 35 years, I still remain somewhat skeptical.
Bert Ammerman's brother Tom died when the plane went down.
Libyan national Abu Aguila Mohammed Ma'asud is expected in D.C. federal court this afternoon. The Justice Department announced his arrest over the weekend. 2 others have been charged in the terror attack, but none have faced trial in the United States. 270 people were killed, including 190 American passengers and crew members.
Fox's Jared Halpern and other trials underway in Washington stemming from last year's Capitol riot.
The Department of Justice accuses Joseph Hackett and David Marshall of Florida, Roberto Minuta of Texas, and Edward Vallejo of Arizona of belonging to a group called the Oath Keepers, who attempted to disrupt the certifying of the 2020 presidential election results.
Fox's Evan Brown, the Oath Keepers founder, and another member were convicted last month of the same seditious conspiracy charge the 4 at this trial face. It's now 4 weeks and a day since 4 University of Idaho students were found murdered.
Police released a warning urging the public and people near campus to be vigilant and travel in groups. An eerie warning as the killer is still not behind bars.
Fox's Alexis McAdams in Moscow, Idaho. No suspect's been named. A storm that dumped 4 feet of snow in California mountain areas is moving east. There were blizzard warnings from Wyoming to South Dakota to Colorado to Nebraska. The Golden Globe nominations came out this morning. The Banshees of Inisherin had the most of any movie, 8.
Do you know who we remember for how nice they was in the 17th century? Who? Absolutely no one.
It's up for Best Comedy or Musical. So was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Second in nominations was 6. Sequels to Top Gun and Avatar among the best drama movie nominees. The awards go out next month. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They want pot. Mostly cloudy and 41 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. The numbers are clear. Hoosiers want that legal pot.
The numbers are overwhelming. It's kind of, it's like only 15% of people said it should remain illegal.
Chad Kinsella with the Ball State Bowen Center for Public Policy talking to Indy Politics. But any effort seems to be moot in the State House. Governor Holcomb is still adamant that he will not support legal pot as long as it's illegal on the federal level. You already know that Senator Mike Braun is planning to run for governor in 2024, but further crowding the Republican primary, Indiana Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch. She released a statement this morning saying that she too plans to run for governor. She says, I have a clear vision for Indiana's future: lower taxes, keep our citizens safe, protect the sanctity of life, and defend Hoosier values. Managing your money. Chris Davis reports on the plan from the next state treasurer.
He wants to make it easier for your county government to borrow money to fix roads and bridges through the Indiana Bond Bank.
We see a lot of growth happening in the donut counties. That's natural, and around the urban areas. But we really need to be looking at how we can help grow our rural areas.
Treasurer-elect Daniel Elliott tells Wish TV's All Indiana Politics it's important for your elected public servants to know what your city or county needs, to know how and why to get the money to fix it. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You'll reach near 60 for Wednesday's high, but you'll have to put up with rain starting Tuesday.
So late Tuesday night is when the next chance of rain comes in. Storm system approaches from the west, and by Wednesday morning, it should be raining almost everywhere.
Matt Eckhoff with the National Weather Service. Then a cold front comes in. Temps will drop down into the 20s at some points. The USI Screaming Eagles are new to D1 athletics this year, and they are certainly screaming loudly. Sunday, they brought Indiana's 5-game win streak to a halt. They beat the Sycamores 88-85 in overtime. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's lab-grown or mined diamond store.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is December 12th. It is 5 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Rob does have the day off, and in his place, we have Brad Klopfenstein. Somebody sent me a tweet, Brad, and they said it's kind of cute that you, if you're not paying attention, you sound like Rob.
I've heard that. I've also heard I sound a little bit like Nigel.
Oh, really?
So I mean, I've offered that to Matt Hiblin that they can seamlessly just put me in, and all I need to do is drop a couple of high-tax Holcombs or Duke of Spendingburgs, and nobody's going to know the difference.
Okay. Speaking of the Duke of Spendingburg, and we're going to have, I'm sure, I'm pretty confident that we'll have more on this tomorrow with Mr. Kendall. But Todd Young was censured by the Cass County Republican Party. He was one of 12 Republicans in the Senate to vote in favor of the RMA last month, helping the bill get past the filibuster. And Brad, what are your thoughts on this?
Probably my first thought is Todd Young said, who? So just to kind of set this up for our listeners who don't know. Mm-hmm. So the federal government passed a bill that basically said
Respect for Marriage.
Respect for marriage. So if a same-sex couple gets married in a state where that is legal, all the other states have to recognize this. And Todd Young voted in favor of that. The Cass County Republicans said, shame on you, Todd Young. We would like to discriminate against people, and you are messing up our scheme. That's at least my take on it. But the Republicans have a problem. You have kind of the open-minded, socially accepting libertarian wing of the Republican Party, and you have the socially conservative kind of religious right wing of the party, and they are drifting further and further apart, as witnessed by this. So Cass County would be that more socially conservative wing, and Todd Young is like, you know what? It's not up for me to judge other people. God will do that just fine. If two people want to love each other, I got no problem with it.
Okay, so he wrote an op-ed in Indy Star explaining his vote, and he said that they don't want to live in fear of their families being ripped apart by a future court decision. So he's saying that this is, for the future.
Yes.
What might happen.
This ship has sailed, and the fact that the Cass County Republican Party is trying to scold him. He is a U.S. senator. He represents the entire state of Indiana. Who do you guys think you are, Cass County, Logansport, to admonish him for this? But the fact is, I mean, 10 years ago, we didn't have, I don't think same-sex marriage was legal in Indiana. I mean, public sentiment is there. I'd say it's probably got 75 or 80% acceptance. People have grown over time and have said, this is the way things are. This is probably the way they should have been for a long time. And to have one particular county try to go in the opposite direction of that, I find fascinating.
They said that his decision elicited feelings of anger, disbelief, and even a sense of betrayal. And they're not just fiscal conservatives, but social conservatives as well. And then they invited other Republican groups to join in the censure.
You know what? If your church wants to say we are not going to endorse same-sex marriages, that is one thing. The state should not be in that business. And basically the Cass County Republican Party is saying we want the state to be in that business, and we want to undo everything that's been going on in society for the last 15 years. I'm sorry, we are not going back in that direction. And if you're listening to us in Cass County and you feel that way, I'm sorry, but you might want to get over it.
That's Brad Klopfenstein filling in for Rob Kendall today, who is out. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So NASA's Orion spacecraft is back on Earth after its flight around the moon.
Welcome home.
Yeah, well, there's nobody in it. There was nobody in it. It was uncrewed. It was unmanned, right?
But it still had pronouns.
Okay. It was the first mission to end successfully this space agency's first Artemis mission to end successfully. They're testing out new technology, which is one day needed to send people to the surface of the moon. Now, I'm old enough. I'm so old, Brad, that they were still landing men on the moon when I was born. And now a lot of people are saying, why are we doing that? We should be going straight to Mars.
It takes a long time to get to Mars. It takes like a year to get a manned spacecraft to Mars. That's why we're not going to Mars. You have to figure out how to support the people on the craft for the year to get them there and the year to get them back. There's not exactly fields of corn once you get there. Now, so you were born when we were still sending men to the moon. I was born within a year of when we first had somebody land on the moon. There's probably a reason that we didn't go back. Now, you've probably heard the conspiracy theories that we never went there at all, right?
Well, sure.
Yeah.
That the pictures are fake and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was all done in a studio lot somewhere. I'm guessing that we never went back was we went there, we're like, it takes a lot of time and effort and resources to get here, and all there are a lot of rocks. And there's no atmosphere. We can't live here. It's just neat to say we've been.
Yeah. Well, the big picture is that NASA could be sending people back to the lunar surface as soon as 2025. What do we think? Do we need to go back? Should we be going back? It's kind of like a been there, done that.
It is. To what end? It's, if they're wanting to establish some sort of colony there, research, maybe, but I've not heard them spell out a good reason. I mean, at least the first time around, we're like, we're going to the moon because we're going to see what's there.
Right.
And now we've been there and we're like, oh.
Well, and we've went back a few times.
Right. We did go back a few times. And I'm sure that each time they did a little bit more study and finally they decided, there's nothing there. I mean, if there was some sort of mineral or something that they could mine and that was going to be useful back here, I'm sure we would be going back. But SpaceX and nobody else is talking about going there, so
maybe they haven't discovered it yet. Maybe that's why.
Okay.
That's why. So the number of people in the United States who speak a language other than English at home, mainly Spanish, has nearly tripled over the last 40 years. This is according to new data from the Census Bureau. So we're seeing some major shifts in immigration from Latin America and also Asia. And this is transforming our nation's linguistic diversity, right?
Yes. So my wife, my new wife, she is a teacher down in Franklin Township. And I think she was telling me that they have 18 different languages that are the primary language of their students. And that's here in central Indiana. And that there is a significant number of the students in her school that come in, and English is their second language.
English is their second language.
English is their second language. So
okay,
several of the students are bilingual, and typically when you're young, you adapt fairly well. But she has a few kids that come in that there is no English spoken at all, and fortunately, she's got a few other students in the class that will translate and share what the lesson's supposed to be. But this is not uncommon. So I'm not surprised to hear these numbers at all.
So this report found that 67.8 million, at least 1 in 5, people spoke another language besides English. In the 80s, it was 1 in 10. So now it's 1 in 5. And Spanish was the most common non-English language spoken, 62%. 62%.
That's
and
amazing.
that number's just going to keep growing.
Well, and in the 80s, it probably wasn't even Spanish was number 2. I mean, that could have been German or maybe French or who knows. But certainly immigration has had a lot to do with that number. And pretty much you can't work in a commercial kitchen and not speak Spanish these days.
So when you're thinking of that, you're probably thinking about border states, that it's happening mostly in Texas or Arizona or New Mexico, right?
You would think that, although I know that that's not the case.
Yes, you would think that. But Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Michigan, North Dakota, and South Dakota have seen some of the fastest Latino population growth over the last decade in the country.
Yeah. I knew some guys that worked in a restaurant kitchen, and they said that basically they crossed the border. They paid somebody who flew them to Chicago, dropped them off, and said, "Here you go." And they had to figure it out from there. And so I think that, yes, getting across the border, they don't just stay at the border. Typically, they fan out.
Or especially when Ron DeSantis put you on a plane and sent you somewhere.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
you're not.
Put
You're
you on a
not
plane,
staying
put you
there.
on a bus.
I read something this weekend. I think it was almost 3,000 people had crossed the border in El Paso just this past weekend.
Yes, just a little bit ago, over your shoulder, there was video of a line.
Yeah. It was like 24 hours. It was like the biggest weekend ever for irregulars.
Irregulars,
illegals, immigration, whatever you want to call it. Okay, finally, let's talk about this. Wordle. The Wordle has beat out every other word as the most searched term in Google for this past year.
I could see that. I didn't know what Wordle was probably this time last year. I've still never played.
No, I've never played it either. It's a popular puzzle game. And it's beating out things like Ukraine, election results, Betty White. So now it's a little misleading because Wordle's a puzzle game and people are looking for hints and answers.
Ah, that makes sense.
Right? So they're Googling it.
Well, at least there's other things I've heard of. I mean, if I'm just looking for what is Wordle, that you type that in, but I notice even on like my Facebook feed,
it's full of people posting
I wouldn't
their
say full, but I would say at least
Wordle
once
score.
a day I see somebody posting something about it.
Yeah, so this is a game, but also, don't you think that kind of, what does this say about Americans' curiosity? You're spending more time on Google looking up answers for Wordle than inflation.
Casey,
Ukraine.
I am not surprised.
Election.
I am not surprised by this. I have more worthless knowledge in my head because I've been sitting around and I'm like, oh, I wonder what that is. And I'll look it up. And next thing you know, I'm 5 minutes later, I've got Wordle. Is it now in my head? I know what it is. I move on to the next topic. So
yeah,
I think it's a distraction. I know a lot of people in the evenings, they'll sit around, watch TV on, and they'll be playing Wordle or whatever. Not surprised by this at all.
Yeah, well, it kind of goes back to that, what's most important to you. You could spend hours and days talking about the Mexican pizza at Taco Bell, but when your politicians do something, a lot of people don't even care. It doesn't affect them, or they think it doesn't affect them.
Politics takes critical thinking, which is very difficult. That's why they default to Wordle.
Wordle, the most searched term in Google for this past year, but it's a game. If Betty White died every day, she would probably be the most searched term. So that's the thing. It's like an ongoing thing. It's a game. So that's why it continually pops up. However, you could say the same for inflation. That's an ongoing game. The war in Ukraine, that's an ongoing game.
Yes.
Election results, heck, those are ongoing a lot longer than they should be. Right?
They are. And especially the war in Ukraine, I think at some point, and maybe we're hitting that tipping point where people are getting a little tired of hearing about it.
Getting tired of the money we're sending over there.
Well,
yeah.
That.
Yeah.
More than anything.
It's 18 minutes after 11. It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
What's happening?
You won't be seeing much of the sun for a while.
Folks here in central Indiana need to get used to gray skies because we may have that till the middle of next week.
Check in at the top and bottom of the hour.
Big decision
on the Supreme Court. LGBTQ couples.
Access to services.
Get the very latest.
Twitter is facing serious questions.
The day's news.
Civil rights and obstruction of justice.
Chase Winkle faces 11 charges, people being arrested and writing false reports.
Hear the news. 93 WIBC.
Well, it's a great honor. It's obviously not the reason I volunteer, but it's nice.
Meet Chuck Bouyo, retired registered nurse, volunteer at Meals on Wheels, and another Jiffy Lube Do More winner.
And I'm Jiffy Lube owner Steve Sanner. At Jiffy Lube, we are proud to support Hoosier charities that use their vehicles to do more to make Indiana a better place to live.
Satisfying that I know that at least that day they will get a meal, maybe even 2 meals.
Jiffy Lube of Indiana provides all of our Do More winners with free vehicle maintenance for a year. Because now at Jiffy Lube, our trained technicians do more to keep vehicles like theirs and yours on the road. Brakes, tires, batteries, and more. As well as Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985.
To get an oil change every couple months is nice.
Jiffy Lube accepts competitors' coupons, so you don't have to choose between saving a few dollars versus treating your vehicle to Jiffy Lube's award-winning service. Click on JiffyLubeIndiana.com for a Jiffy Lube near you.
It's a new day because COVID vaccines just got a big update. So all the big stuff coming up this fall, well, now you can say, you bet I'll be there. Because updated COVID vaccines protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron. And everyone 5 and older can get one. So this is a moment we've all been waiting for.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Want to save 25 to 75% on your diamond? Come see Pierce Jewelers in Carmel before you spend your hard-earned money somewhere else. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
Lighten up, Francis.
And Casey Daniels.
I want to party with you, cowboy. If the two of us together, forget it.
On 93 WIBC.
You're simpatico, and I'm falling left home.
21 minutes after 11, you're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC, and Brad Kloffenstein is filling in for Rob today. So Indiana lawmakers are sharing new details about their plans for mental health legislation this session. So what, they want to give 100... What was the number?
$100 million.
$100 million.
Which might actually, in my mind, be low.
To go to mental health treatment.
Right. So
it's going to be a priority.
Yeah. So Indiana, like Central State Hospital, in fact, I think you might live over towards where that used to be here in Indianapolis.
I do.
That was the state mental health hospital. And the state of Indiana closed that facility and stopped funding a lot of mental health treatment. Basically, all that resulted in was a vast increase in homelessness, a vast increase in drug abuse. I know, and every school district in the state of Indiana is wrestling with this, where they have students that are schizophrenic, have other mental health issues, and they're wrestling with trying to keep these kids in with other kids in the classroom. A, their distraction. B, they're not getting the help that they need. Or C, if they do, oftentimes schools are spending like $40,000 because you have some of these kids that truly have a mental health issue and they're not receiving the treatment they need in a standard school setting, and these schools are spending $40,000 a year or more on one kid because the kid has probably 2 instructors that's with them. They're in a room by themselves, and it's a specially built room because oftentimes these kids are a danger to themselves and others. So I think the state is finally realizing they could save a lot of money in the long run by actually putting money into mental health, dealing with these individuals on the front end, get them treatment so that their meds are right, that they have the right instruction, that they are actually learning how to be functional adults or students or kids. And in the long run, you're going to save money because you've got, 400 school districts around the state of Indiana, and every one of them is having to deal with this issue.
Yeah, they're saying once they get into the criminal justice system, it's hard to get out.
It is.
So we're trying to prevent that.
And even our prison system, the prison system was designed for rehabilitation, but the vast majority of people that are in prisons have some sort of mental health problem. They need treatment, and they're not receiving the treatment for what their issues are. I applaud this. So whoever is behind this, you get the good clap from Brad Kloffenstein because this is long overdue.
Now, do you think that a lot of this is arising because of the lockdowns, or do you think this predates the lockdowns?
It's some of each.
Because now studies are coming out saying that 1 in 5 teenagers today have suicidal thoughts.
Yes.
And much of that is because of the lockdowns and the mask wearing and the not having personal connections and being face to face with people.
talking to teachers from a number of different districts, they talk about the COVID kids, especially the young ones where they spent basically a year and a half on their parents' lap. Trying to reintegrate them into a classroom setting has been a challenge. And there's anxiety and mental illness that goes with that. And I know that they're dealing with anxiety far more than they ever did in the past. And it is a factor of being locked down. They don't have those social interactions. Now, you don't want to discount video gaming, and I think people could be sitting next to each other, but they're interacting far less. And just those social interactions, I mean, being able to look somebody in the eye and have a conversation about things is starting to become a lost art. And you can't discount this or that in this whole equation, but there's certainly more of a need for mental health treatment than there's ever been.
Yeah, I completely agree with you that there is a need for it, but half of the problem began because of the lockdowns. Like it was a situation that was perpetuated from these lockdowns, and now we're going to need $100 million to fix the problem.
Yes, so we were living in fear.
And we got Fauci saying, oh, we could lock down again this winter because of RSV and flu and COVID.
He needs to come up with another line, and that's not going to happen.
So
we know that's not going to happen.
Where does it end? Like, let's for your physical health, you've got to stay inside and wear a mask, and you can't go out and be among your friends. And then that has a toll on their mental health, and then we got to put up more money for that.
Yeah, I like anything. I think the further away
cause and effect here.
Yeah, the further away you get from whatever the action was that caused it, we're all able to adapt and cope better. So I think the further down the road we get, 3, 4, 5 years from now, it's not going to be as big of an issue, but it is certainly a big issue now. And I would say only part of that, and probably a minority of that, is caused by COVID. A majority of it either is things that had gone untreated in the past and we're more aware of it now, but it is certainly an issue, and it's an issue that I even see out in the public.
Okay, so let's talk about this Washington Post story. They've lost around 500,000 subscribers in the past year, and they're not expecting to make a profit this year.
Poor Jeff Bezos. We're gonna have to have a bake sale for him in the Washington Post.
So they tried to do a pretty aggressive and publicized subscription campaign to get people back, but it's just not happening. 500,000 subscribers said, see you later. And I believe that has something to do with Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The Donald Trump effect. When he was in, they were up.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why you want to read about him? I want to read what he's going to do next. But when he's out, their numbers are down.
Well, Rush Limbaugh and conservative radio, actually, the ratings are higher when the Democrats are in charge and vice versa. And there's something to that. Now, let me ask, do you subscribe to any news publications?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I know the radio station pays for the Indy Star subscription so that we can stay informed. And for years, I got a free newspaper, the South Bend Tribune, because of employment. That was part of the deal. You work for this company, you get the newspaper as well. But to actually pay for one? No. Why? Do you?
So I do. I
Wall Street Journal?
No. I do get the Indy Star delivered. I've got the Capital Chronicle. They're a donation kind of system, but I do throw some money their way from time to time. Abdul's Cheat Sheet. I get Brian Howie's publication. And some of that is, I just feel like if people are not paying for news and journalism, eventually that will go away. So I might not always like what the Star has to say, and I might be critical of what they're doing. However, I think that if you don't pay for it, just like the Star, really there's no newsrooms now that have anybody dedicated to court filings and that sort of thing. We're going to end up seeing issues later on with people getting away with things just because there's no oversight anymore from paid journalism.
Well, the front page of the Indy Star looked like a sports newspaper.
Well, and frankly, I read the sports page first.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why they're putting it on front for you, because they know. I'm sure that their subscription base has declined.
Oh, it has. I mean,
just like every other newspaper across the country.
So when I first got into politics, I always said Indiana was ripe for somebody like the Libertarian Party because we had over 60 daily newspapers in the state of Indiana. And they were always looking for content. So if I wanted to put out a press release, I had 60 sites that might use it. And every one of them, even in small towns, Greenfield has the Daily Reporter. And I mean, they had a circulation of 10,000. And now you're down to just a handful of dailies and they're sharing newsrooms. And yes, things are changing, but I'm not necessarily sure for the better.
Yeah. That's Brad Kloffenstein. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
I lost my husband in July, and he's in heaven now. If he could write me a letter, this is what he would say. It is so beautiful here in heaven. Your little flower garden takes a lot of work. Here in heaven, you do not have to do all the watering and do all the trimming. You shared a vision with me during my last days of me sitting in a rocking chair, holding our little daughter Amanda on one knee. She is beautiful. Here in heaven, God's love is even deeper than I can express. I look forward to sharing all of this with you someday.
We don't often talk about grief during the Christmas season, and yet Christmas can bring up memories that evoke pain and heartache because of the loss of a loved one. Hi, this is Pastor Micah Beckwith, and our Blue Christmas experience at Life Church is designed to give you a space to remember, to ponder, and to feel. Come to one of our Blue Christmas experiences and find a new freedom and joy during the holidays. Go to lcbluechristmas.com for times and locations.
People here are raving about QC Kinetics and how regenerative medicine has changed their life. People like Helen, an avid mountain climber who got sidelined when an accident left her knees in constant pain.
I was not able to train or do really anything on my knee.
Helen was told surgery would be her only option. But then she found QC Kinetics and was treated with natural biologics designed to repair and restore tissue in her knees. 3 months later, she was climbing the highest mountain in North America.
I got a very quick resolution to my pain. I began treatment in March, and I summited Denali June the 7th. It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
Get your life back with lasting results. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN.
Inflating prices aren't stopping anytime soon, and that kitchen or bath remodel you've been thinking about, if you wait any longer, it's just going to get more and more expensive. You need to be planning right now. Tony Katz for Boer Remodeling. Get in touch with Boer now to get on the schedule for 2023 and avoid some of those price increases. Boer Remodeling aims to be the finest remodeler in Central Indiana with the best materials and most skilled craftsmen. They'll guide you through the entire process to make your vision come to life. Boer Remodeling, BOOHER. Talk to BoerRemodeling.com to set up your free consultation.
Who appreciates the value of an Ivy Tech Community College Associate degree? Well, the state's largest colleges for starters. Over 20 have partnered with us in our Guaranteed Admissions Program, where an Ivy Tech Associate degree guarantees admission to their bachelor's degree program. Who else? The 70,000 plus high school students each year who earn college credit in high school and save on tuition by doing it. But as valuable as an Ivy Tech degree is, the real value lies in the better life it makes possible. Let's get started today at ivytech.edu.
Pierce Jewelers has a spectacular array of diamond earrings, diamond pendants, diamond rings, and diamond bracelets. They shop the world to bring you the very best. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The clock is ticking. Cloudy and in the low 40s downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Lawmakers facing a Friday deadline to fund the government and avoid a shutdown. However, it's likely a short-term extension will be needed. The Senate also needs to weigh in on the annual defense spending bill before the holidays. China is rolling back more of its strict COVID-19 measures this week.
People in China have had to use a smartphone app to trace and record their travel. It was meant to identify
identify who visited coronavirus hotspots. From midnight tonight, Beijing time, that app will stop working. It follows an unexpected announcement last week which ended the most draconian COVID restrictions. Rare protests broke out last month over China's zero-COVID policy, and the country's economy is slowing.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out.
It's 11:34. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. Rob is off today, and Brad is filling in for him. Now, imagine if Siri, if they could write a college essay, or maybe if Alexa could spit out a movie review in the style of Shakespeare. What would you think about that?
It's coming.
Yeah.
I know it's coming.
Coming? It's already here. OpenAI last week opened across platforms with ChatGPT. This is an AI-powered chatbot that interacts with users, and it is eerily convincing and good.
Now, it's just a matter of time before you have an AI bot in my chair talking with you.
It was all over social media all weekend. This ChatGPT launched, and so I signed up. I had to get an account because I wanted to know what it was all about. And so you fill this out, and of course, you can ask it all sorts of different questions, and it will spit out different things. For example, I said, write an article about the top restaurants in Indianapolis. And there it went. And it wrote an article about the top restaurants in Indianapolis. And it listed top 5. Elmo's Steakhouse was one that they put on the list. And then I said, okay, how to win an election. And it wrote an article about that. And then I asked its opinion. I said, what is your opinion of Ron DeSantis? And it says, as a language model trained by OpenAI, I'm not capable of having opinions or beliefs because it hasn't learned that yet. And then I said, okay, you don't want to give me your opinion about Ron DeSantis. Tell me about Ron DeSantis. And then it went into, well, Ron DeSantis is an American politician who currently is serving as the 46th governor of Florida. Okay. Then I thought, I'm really going to test it. What is Todd Young's nickname? And it said, I'm not aware of any nicknames for Todd Young. But then I said, create a nickname for Todd Young. And it came up with one possible nickname for Senator Todd Young could be the Young Gun, because he's one of the youngest members of the Senate. Another possible nickname could be the Hoosier Senator. So it's AI, it's coming, and it's already here.
Can you ask it who is the Duke of Spindingburg?
Right. See what it says.
Now earlier we were talking about Twitter favoring some tweets over others. This could be very dangerous if the people behind it
if it
start shifting it in one direction or another, and people truly rely on it for information.
Yes, and it starts getting opinions.
Right.
That's where the danger comes in. Already, I think it is going to be the end of copywriters. I mean, I asked it to write an article for me for the side piece on WIBC, and it did. And it came up with something better than what I could ever do. I mean, it was...
Can you claim that work as your own?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, I feel like I'm going to write an article on WIBC about how I used AI to write this article. And everybody can read it and see what they think. So the end of copywriters. Do you remember when President Biden told all those coal miners, go learn to code?
Yes.
Well, guess what? The coders are going to be out of work soon because all you have to do is type in, show me a code for whatever you want, and boom, there it is. So that's something that's going to be questioned in the future. High school English papers, your essay to get into college. Did you write this or did AI write this?
Yeah, and how are they going to know the difference?
Right. How will they know the difference? So these are all things. Again, this is called ChatGPT. GPT, if you're interested.
So hopefully this time next year you'll be calling me Dr. Brad Kloffenstein.
Call you Bot Kloffenstein as AI takes over. It's 11:39. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC, so it's a long time to wait. This year marks the 34th anniversary of the unsolved 1988 Lockerbie bombing that claimed the lives of 270 people. The Justice Department announced Sunday that they have taken the suspected bomb maker into U.S. custody. A brother of one of the victims tells President Biden what he wants.
If there's a connection to Iran, Mr. President, let us not keep that quiet. You were a senator in 1988. You know this story more than anyone else. And I do believe you should come out in front of the American public, specifically sometime today, and lay out a specific plan. Not to say that I'm happy that we followed through, we kept our promise. What is happening next, and what would be the results if Iran is implicated in this cowardly act?
He went on to say that if the United States had properly taken care of the situation 34 years ago, we possibly may have never had a 9/11.
It's possible.
Yeah. Let's, before we go into this break, talk about this. I saw this and I thought, okay, it reminded me of something. TGI Fridays branded mozzarella stick snacks contain no mozzarella. And now there's a lawsuit.
There should be a lawsuit. How can I get in on this?
So there's this Illinois woman who's suing the makers because the prepackaged snack doesn't contain mozzarella cheese. And she said that it is showing business practices that are unlawful, unfair, and deceptive.
They are. I remember when I was in college, there was a lawsuit that some little local pizza place had got a deal on pizza boxes from somewhere, but it had the real symbol from the American Dairy Association on these boxes. They didn't think much of it. Well, apparently the cheese they were using contained some cheese that was not actual dairy cheese, and some smart guy up at Purdue, I believe it was up at Purdue, ran it through whatever their spectrometer was. They're like, hey, that's not real cheese. And they got sued.
Yeah. And did they lose the lawsuit?
Oh, yeah. The pizza place lost the lawsuit. I don't know what the damages would have been. Mostly they had to get new pizza boxes. But in this case, I'm curious to know because TGI Fridays sells a lot of mozzarella sticks.
The plaintiff said that she didn't get what she bargained for. And I thought about this at first and I thought, come on, cheese is cheese, right? And no, apparently there are different health benefits for mozzarella cheese. It has lower calories. It's lower in sodium and fat and cholesterol than other cheeses. And at least within the context of the food known as mozzarella sticks, the presence of mozzarella cheese is more desirable for a lot of people. So there could be allergies. There could be a lot of different things that this woman thought she was getting mozzarella and she was not getting mozzarella.
So I went on the ingredients. Now I need to check out the box. Me and the associate actually made real mozzarella a couple of years ago.
Yeah?
So yeah, you cannot use pasteurized milk. So we bought unpasteurized milk that's allegedly not for human consumption from one of these Mennonite farmers at the farmer's market. But it takes a whole lot of milk to make one little tiny mozzarella ball.
Yeah, I bet. The term mozzarella stick is more like, you think of it when you bar food, right?
Right.
So just know that all mozzarella sticks aren't the same.
I think they call them Moz sticks oftentimes, and that gets around it.
This lawsuit is seeking punitive, enhanced, and statutory damages. But you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that 1994 Pace Thick and Chunky salsa commercial.
Right.
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
The what? New York City?
Yeah, that's the one.
More Pace Thick and Chunky salsa. Yeah. This ain't Pace Thick and Chunky salsa. Well, woo, doggies.
Pace is made with big chunks of tomatoes, onions, and peppers,
perfect for dipping.
By folks in San Antonio
Who know what salsa should taste like.
Well, this stuff's made in New York City.
New York City!
What?
Jake, it's time you switch brands.
Pick up a thick and chunky one. Pick up the Pace.
Pick up the Pace and dip your fake mozzarella sticks in it. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
The latest local news. Commentary from Tony Katz.
Care about these
Kendall and Casey.
5.6%.
Hammer and Nigel.
Biden.
Podcasts. Listen to the station live whenever, wherever. Online at WIBC.com.
Guys, this Christmas, give her the next best thing to wearing nothing at all. I'm talking about soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas available exclusively at Pajamagram. They are sensuous and smooth. I'm talking naturally nude pajamas feeling like her soft skin, more alluring than lingerie. The texture and touch of these PJs is very seductive. You're both going to love the feel of them. I know my wife does. She looks great in them. Order today, and Pajamagram will include a free matching naturally nude nightie. That's a $75 saving on a best-selling holiday gift.
Best of all, Pajamagram does the wrapping for you with free gift packaging. In a year filled with the unexpected, get her something she can count on. But you need to order today because last year they sold out before Christmas. So here's what you do. Go to Pajamagram.com right now. That's Pajamagram.com. Go there right now and order the naturally nude pajamas. Pajamagram.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Hey, good morning. It's Casey, and let's talk about your retirement dreams. So you had a solid retirement plan. You're going to sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and possibly travel. But inflation and the recession has you wondering if all of your hard-earned equity is still going to be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all that cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all of your property taxes. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will pay for your home today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. It's the smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. Truehold.com.
Hi, this is Denny Smith. You know, it's the holiday season, and it used to be that I dread all the people that come and all the messes that end up here at the house. You know what I mean. Uncle Jess drops his plate of food on the couch, and my laughing guest drops her wine glass on Jane's favorite rug. I don't worry about it anymore. I really don't, because I've got my team at Zero Res for backup. Yep, they can clean up Uncle Jess's chip dip and Laughing Lucy's wine, and boy, am I glad they can. Their patented ZR water cleans my home surfaces without harsh chemicals and detergents, too. Not only that, these Zero Res folks are first class in every way. Their techs are background checked, cleanliness focused, and for me, it's all about not worrying anymore about the uncleanable, because Zero Res can handle it. They've got a great special right now, and when you call for 3 rooms of carpet clean for $149, tell them that Denny Smith at WIBC says you can trust them, because you can. Don't wait. Call Zero Res today to experience a smarter, lasting clean. You can book online at ZeroResIndy.com or call 317-388-5141.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today.
Today.
Dell Technologies' Days of Deals for Business start now with fresh, limited quantity deals on tech to drive productivity. Save on select performance laptops and desktops powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything, and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Crew Car Wash books make the perfect holiday gift, and right now buy 4 Ultimate Washes and get 2 free, available online or at any Crew Car Wash location.
The latest local news.
We'll get any
Commentary from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey,
5.6%.
Hammer and Nigel.
Biden.
Podcasts. Listen to the station live whenever, wherever. Online at WIBC.com.
Feliz Navidad.
11 minutes in front of 12. It is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC, and Brad is in for Rob today. So on Thursday night, the Indianapolis Public Library Board of Trustees offered someone a job of CEO, which was then followed by boos from the public who attended the meeting. So they wanted to give this job to this person from New Orleans, and library patrons and staff, they lost their minds. They were not on board with this at all.
They turned into a library mob, Casey. So, now, Casey, can you ever imagine a scenario where you go in to take a new job and you get there and you find out half the other people in the building had applied for that job and nobody wanted you there?
Yeah, you wouldn't feel very welcomed, would you? Kind of like, oh boy.
So, yeah, this guy turned around, took one look around and like, oh yeah, I want no part of this. And he's gone.
Yeah. So people were upset with the decision. They actually were planning a protest to be held outside the library downtown.
It's hard to protest something that already happened in your favor.
Yeah. Are libraries still necessary in a modern internet-connected society? Do people still go to the library?
A few do, but I don't know that they are necessary. Yeah, I guess they're a nice community center, but pretty much any book you'd want, you can find online. They provide computer access for a small number of people, but for the amount of money that goes into the libraries, I think that they're not all that necessary.
Did you hear about this 100 Days to Indy that's going to air on Wish TV?
I have. I'm excited about it, which I'm a huge IndyCar fan.
Yeah, Indianapolis doing the thing that only Indianapolis can do about the Indy 500. So this is going to be a behind-the-scenes docu-series, and it's produced by Penske Entertainment, and it's going to be a 6-part series, which will document, of course, the greatest spectacle in racing.
So it's going to be on the CW, I believe, with our news gathering partner, Wish TV. So I'm excited. I will consume almost anything IndyCar. I probably know way too much about it and spend way too much following it. I hope that this helps build excitement. I'm curious that it's the CW that's actually going to air this, given that NBC seems to be the IndyCar partner. So either NBC passed or somehow they're getting around that exclusivity, because especially with Peacock, I would think anything that IndyCar Productions puts together would find its way to NBC or Peacock, and it's not. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm curious to see what the behind the scenes are.
Right.
I'd like to see more about how they go about finding sponsors and putting together venues and events and just the nitty gritty of it. So I could see this being really interesting.
Okay, so the 107th running of the Indy 500 is set for Sunday, May 28th, 2023. But here's the thing. They said this docu-series is to get a younger audience to continue to grow the sport. Right?
Yes.
And I get that. They want to grow the sport. They want to continually have younger people come into it and get excited about it. But do you really think that a television docu-series is the most effective way to reach out to a younger audience?
I think a lot of people right now are trying to figure out what is an effective way to reach a younger audience. I mean, I've always said no matter what business you're in, and it could be in radio, it could be in a bar business, you should not be... Your atmosphere and what you're doing should not be targeting the customers you have. It should be targeting the customers you want. And I'm sure that IndyCar is looking at this as, I'm not going to say it's a Hail Mary, but it's certainly a way to branch out and potentially reach some other potential consumers that they don't normally reach. I mean, they do the big concert on the day of the race over in Turn 3, the Snake Pit. And there's 40,000 people that show up to that who don't really even pay any attention to the race. But I think the thought is eventually they will start paying attention to the race, and the people who go to the snake pit in their teens and 20s are the people that are going to fill the stands in their 30s and 40s and 50s.
Let's talk about some more sports, and we have to go to Purdue for that.
Hooray!
Because I know you're a fan. So tell me about this, the Elf. Purdue basketball scored big when they casted Caleb Furst as Elf. So Caleb is a student at Purdue.
He's a student. He's a sophomore basketball player. He's 6'10", and he kind of a forward/center, depending on whether Zach Edey's on the floor with him or not. But I didn't know much about Caleb First's personality. I don't know who put this together. It is hilarious. If you have not seen it, seek it out.
Let's take a listen to it.
Purdue basketball. What's your favorite color?
Purdue basketball. Coach Painter speaking.
He's supposed to do. He's doing a riff on Will Ferrell.
Yeah, right. He's dressed like Elf, and he's riffing on Will Ferrell's Elf. There's another one where he walks by and sees the world's largest drum in a window, and he runs in, and there's people in like a cafe setting, and he's like, "Congratulations, you did it!
You did it! Just like the world's best cup of coffee." So the video has more than 1 million views.
Oh, wow.
And it just keeps growing. So his name is Caleb First. If you want to seek it out and watch him dressed up as Elf, they're cute. Well, thank you, Brad, for coming in today and filling in for Rob. He'll be back tomorrow for a couple days, and then he's gone again.
His spot appearance. I may or may not be back with you at some point before the holidays.
We'll spin the wheel of guests and see what AI has for us. Thanks, Kevin. Good job. And thank you for listening today. I'm going to count on you to be here tomorrow. It is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
I want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
AAA has bailed me out multiple times, including this one time I was at work, battery died, couldn't go anywhere. AAA was here within 45 minutes. They pulled my old battery out, put a new one in, and I was on my way. And if you're still not done with your holiday shopping, if you're a AAA member like me, I've got you covered, okay? Give the gift of peace of mind this holiday season, a AAA membership. It's the gift that keeps giving well past the holidays. Flat tires, dead batteries, lock your keys in your car, 24/7 roadside assistance from AAA for an entire year. I'm a AAA member. You should be too.
Check another thing off of your list by giving someone you care about a AAA membership. Get yours today at your local AAA office by calling 844-GO-AAA-GO or visiting AAA.com. And don't forget to ask about complimentary travel planning and great insurance rates, auto, home, life, and more, because you don't have to be stuck on the side of the road to get assistance from AAA.
The share it with a friend deal, even if that friend is yourself. Your McDonald's, your rules.
$3 meals? Sounds 3 times as tasty. Choose from a crispy 6-piece McNuggets or juicy double cheeseburger and add small fries, all for only $3. Add any size soft drink for $1. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
If you run a small business, you need the most from every investment. That's why Comcast Business gives you more. Like more innovation with our new gig speed Wi-Fi, plus unlimited data. More speed from the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses. And more savings, up to 60% a year with Comcast Business Mobile. All from the company that powers more businesses than any other provider. When you need more, you need Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with internet and advanced security for just $40 per month for 12 months with no annual contract when you add mobile. Plus, ask how to get a $750 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 1/1/2023. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary. Compare pricing of top carriers. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Comcast Business Internet required. New Comcast Business 100 megabits per second internet and security edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep services for 12 months for discount. Results vary. Not an endorsement.
Is your home really ready for the holiday season? As you're putting up your Christmas decorations this year, pay attention to your home siding. There are lots of new vibrant siding colors out there, and new siding can give your home a much-needed facelift. Moss Roofing offers James Hardy siding that comes with a 15-year warranty. It's low maintenance, and it will give your